All right, look on it now.
They have to get it done.
The
Right? They
government,
have to get it done.
the government is offering members of parliament in the hardest hit areas $10 million to assist with housing restoration. What do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah.
It all depends on what kind of money they have in their coffers. They're going to need more than 10 million, that's for sure. I can tell you that. But it all depends on what kind of money they have in their coffers to do that. I mean, some of the questions I asked in that debate, that could never happen in Jamaica now, right? So some of the things we were discussing, what, a month, 2 months ago, was it? Yeah, all right? That's never going to happen right now. That's the priority would have to be infrastructure, the people, and I see that going on for a little while. This effort is going to take years, I think, for the country to recover.
Let's look at some figures. This government since 2016 have embarked on a policy to pay more than they need to pay on the national debt. In fact, there's an estimate that the government paid over $100 billion more than they would have needed to pay, thus bringing down the debt to GDP to 58% 2 years earlier than we were supposed to get there. Do you think that was a squander and bad policy by the government?
I initially questioned it, but I got an answer to that. I spoke to the former Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clark, on it, and his reason was basically, if we pay it off and we show we can honor our obligations, if we ever need to borrow again, these agencies would be inclined to lend us and do business with us. And case in point, this hurricane, because we have a reputation for being honorable and paying and meeting our obligations, people will be more inclined to lend us when we desperately need it. That was his rationale, his reasoning. And so, I mean, I could see that to some extent. But for the economy, the problem with that is, to most of the economy, you need resources. If you look at the US, Japan, some countries in Europe, their debt to GDP is in excess of 100. In excess of 100.
There you go.
You know.
But Al,
so and those economies are foreign. Even if you look at some countries in the Caribbean, they have a higher debt to GDP ratio than Jamaica, and they're doing better than Jamaica.
But here and watch this. Watch this. If you are paying the debt, remember Standard & Poor just a couple of weeks ago said to Jamaica, before the hurricane, a couple of weeks before the hurricane, said to Jamaica that you are the only country that have that debt to GDP that we are rating. We are rating BB from BB minus, but you are not growing. You need to grow.
That's fair. Yeah.
The Prime Minister, just before you come in, the Prime Minister also gave us an example in the Parliament after the hurricane, where he said to us that when Haiti got that earthquake of 7.5 or something like that.
2010, I was there. I went to visit that. Yeah,
right.
2010.
When Haiti got that earthquake, over 200,000 people died.
Yes.
He mentioned which country was it that got an earthquake? I don't remember if it was Chile that got an earthquake, 8 point something on the Richter scale, and just about 300 people died.
Yeah.
That refers to when you spend to develop your infrastructure. That Jamaica over the last 10 years was not interested in developing the infrastructure, but like we agreed, paying more than we need to pay on the debt, when that 100 billion could have gone into infrastructure development, we could have a stronger housing stock. Because when you go down to Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, a lot of the houses are wooden houses that weren't properly built, that were totally destroyed.
No, you are right to an extent, and you make a very cogent argument. But the thing is, with what's happened now, is it a case now that they can see it and now do it and think themselves, right, we need to put in some solid infrastructure? Because Colin, we may be hit again within the next 5 years. The climate change, the way it's going. We got hit with a category 5. What? With the wind speeds were what? 185?
185 right? miles per hour. But all we could be hit next year. Remember, we were hit last year too?
Exactly. So, I mean, there is a lesson. So, whatever you put up, it can't just be, okay, we're going to put back up wooden shacks. And you can't do that. I mean, that makes no sense. So you've got to be able to now plan your infrastructure and put something in, make people live more inward as opposed to on the coastal line. Move it forward, and you've got to get good people. There's a young lady, very bright. Her name is Heather Pinnock. Mm-hmm. You need to get people like Heather Pinnock in there to help with planning and things of that nature. And you've got to really think, right, how are we going to do this? How can we get people to move more in, and what structures can we build for them? And that's going to take, and also as well, we have to repair infrastructure. A lot of the infrastructure we had is from the old colonial days when the English put it in. So, we've got to make it more 21st century. So you're right, that the investment going forward now has to be two things. One, you need to invest heavily in infrastructure. Two, you're going to have to need a part of that budget you do every year as a contingency in case something like this happens. So you know that there's access to funding that you have that can help you, as opposed to, okay, we need to go outside, we need to get the money from this person, that person, we need a bond. So you have to have a contingency in your national budget now for these kind of eventualities.
What is going to happen to the economy now, Al? We see where the government...
we're going to have a downturn. There's no question we're going to have a downturn. Right? There's no question.
Will Jamaica be in a recession in a short while?
A possibility, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. I think we'll see a slowdown in tourism, but there may be an uptick in remittances. People will feel like, look, the people need it. They'll send more money to help family and friends. So we may see an uptick in that. Now, what we'll see is probably inflation going up. People have been saying by next week, fruits and vegetables in Kingston, because we had a little bit of a supply that's going to run down. Mm-hmm. So the inflationary impact, energy prices may go up. So
that's not a major. JP has told us that before the hurricane. That.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
I'm trying to find out something. Firstly, for the case between Buchanan and they were supposed to something at the Supreme Court today, right?
In terms of what?
I think I was doing some appeal for it today.
Which one of the case?
For the seats, something like that.
Oh yes, today there's supposed to be an hearing. What time is it?
It's about 5 o'clock.
Well, let me just catch the end of the day news and see if we get anything on it, and we'll report on it. All right?
Okay. But secondly, I want to say something. This band that they say, I heard person been saying that Nigel Clark is putting this man like he's a prophet or a hero. Like,
Omar Davis was the first person to insure Jamaica against storm and disaster like that. Not Nigel Clark.
Yeah, because I was wondering why the man like a Nigel Clark do all of this, and I was like, is the best finance minister. And I'm like, what happened to these people? I think something was.
He's the best for who want him to be the best.
Oh boy!
But we're going to catch the headline and see where it's taking us. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Cool.
A financial crisis, a health crisis, an economic crisis, all rolled into one. So 3.5 years. That was difficult, tough. But, I mean, the country did come back. I think they fared pretty well bringing the country back. There's no question about that. But they lost 3.5 years, right? So there's that. But the only thing I think about, I can see is that the ability to act is a problem. I think, you've got to really look at this and say, what are we going to do? What do we want to accomplish? And I think that's the problem. I think they really need to get over this. This hurricane has shown you that more resources have to go into infrastructure. It has to. We can't make that mistake again. We've got to bolster what we have, and we've got to have it use it as a buttress against climatic conditions. Which means we have to spend money.
You have seen inside some of the Caribbean corner of Jamaica. The government says poverty was 8%. Do you believe that?
It's not going to be way above that. It's going to be triple that.
No, but do you believe it was 8% prior to the hurricane?
Judging from what I saw, and I mean, this was after the damage for just the people, a lot of poor people in these communities. So, I mean, I don't know how they measured that. I'd have to really look and see. But what you got to judge it by is our income per capita is still very low. I mean, what, $7,000 US? Our income per capita, that's very low. So I would say maybe they're being a little bit optimistic with that figure.
Come on, Al, call it as you see it. Call it as you see it, man.
I think that figure may be a tad bit optimistic, Colin.
The final thing before you go, Al. The final thing before you go. In the last 2 weeks, the government spent $120 million US trying to defend the Jamaican dollars. They mapped up over $49 billion. That adds up to a total of $68 billion to save the dollar from losing 67 cents Jamaican US.
Yes.
67 cents Jamaican, sorry. 67 cents Jamaican. Are we throwing good money after bad money?
On the surface, it looks that way, Colin, but there is a psychological element too, because we know that we're going to go into hard times. We do know that. Also, as well, you don't want to have a panic whereby, okay, the dollar starts to slide, the economy starts to slide. You want to have a bracing effect. And I think that's what I think they're trying to do, have a bracing effect.
I did say finally, but the final question, where is
go ahead.
Where is the Minister of Finance? We have not heard her since the hurricane, since 30%.
Did Nigel Clark come in last week to help out?
He did?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
Well,
tell me about that.
I wouldn't really want to go there. But,
they sent for Nigel?
But
somebody said that's breaking news.
Yeah. But the Minister of Finance should come out, I think, and speak. Someone said to me, you can draw a contrast between the way Siaga handled Gilbert and how this is being handled. Gilbert was a little bit before my time in the sense I wasn't around, so I can't. But people have told me that he was very effective in the field.
Yeah. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Sorry. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Almighty God, we ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We ask for your continuous protection. Protect the viewers and the subscribers, Almighty God. Protect our ambassadors, our donors. Protect all the people who watch this channel. As we say thanks in Jesus' name. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show. Today is the 18th day of November in the year of our Lord 2025. I did say I want to put on a little more sweetness on this mic here. Yes, because sorry about that. Sinus kind of trickle a little bit, you know. But here we are still in the same mess, the same dilemma, and things look like they're getting worse. Let's go to the headline that make the news this evening. The headlines. Nah.
New York's Attorney General is calling on Trump administration to grant special immigration protection to Jamaicans affected by Hurricane Melissa. BOJ says financial system stable, but warns Hurricane Melissa will slow growth and test climate resilience. St. Mary councillors challenge JPS's claim of 85% power restoration after Hurricane Melissa. Westmoreland Custis calls for parishes outside of Kingston to become self-sufficient. In business news, Dolphin Cove reporting another quarter of solid performance, fueled by higher visitor numbers and increased spending per guest.
That's Dolphin Cove showing good performance. That's nice. Tourism in Jamaica is in problem. A lot of the resorts are closing their doors indefinitely. First thing I want to do this evening is invite people to come to Portland. Portland is open. Open for business. Boston Beach is open. Reach Falls is open. Rafting on the Rio Grande is open. Come take a tour of the Rio Grande Valley. Come to Portland and relax. Portland is open. And that's why yesterday evening I called on the new Member of Parliament, Comrade Isaac Buchanan, to bring the parish council together, bring them to the table, and let's get the town of Port Antonio sort out, looking good. The town of Port Antonio right now is a mess. It is stink, it is dirty, it is messy. We have lots of homeless people, a lot of people who are of unsound mind all over the town, even making it worse, while we have a brand new halfway house built for our homeless citizens not being utilized. The only thing new about it now is we have a new Member of Parliament. So we're asking him to lead the charge. Lead the charge to get the town of Port Antonio looking up. Madam Producer, can you touch base with the MP for me now? See if we can get him on at about 6:15. Yeah, use my phone and send him a message. Yeah, man, just use my phone and send him a message now, please. Use my phone, send him a message. Let him know so we want to talk to him about maybe about 7:20. 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. Tell him we want to talk to him about the town of Port Antonio and what he has been doing with his relief effort. We're going to have Dr. Kenneth Russell this evening. We're going to have Professor Ralston Hyman this evening. You heard us talking to Al Edwards yesterday evening. And whole heap of things. We're still trying to get members of the government to come on this show. And we want to open a segment to invite bloggers and vloggers who have a different view. Because he's not a man where love preach to the choir, you know. Me like convert people. Me like hear the dissenting voices. People who have other opinion from ours. I welcome them to call in. Those who are talking behind my back, I have a schedule 8 hours per week. It's in fact 9. I have a schedule of 9 hours per week live on this space. So we not hide from nobody. And we not just run what them call the box. We have our thing where people can call. And as we always say, we don't screen our calls. We don't screen our calls. You call, we answer, and we chit-chat. It's not that me have to accept you in our box. We're going to go on TikTok in a little while. But we want people to know, say, Portland Spice TV is the space that we guarantee to be live on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And on a Saturday morning, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, we start at 5 p.m. On a Tuesday, we go up until 8 so as to facilitate Caribbean Radio. The time has changed. We are on a new time on Caribbean Radio HD. We start at 6 at Caribbean Radio, so they join this broadcast at 6 o'clock. We start here on Portland Spice TV at 5 p.m. From the multitude of advertisers, sound from the multitude. Oh, yes. Sound decisions are made. Yeah. So, as me say, we no hide. We take your calls. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Hi, Colin. Good evening.
How are you doing, my brother?
Question. Fine, thank you, man. A quick question for you.
Yes.
You have an update. You have an update on the Dalvars investigation on that 4 container went missing month ago.
Tell her. No, I don't know how this one taking so long. The Buju one take less than the Buju one was overnight, maybe 12 hours. Why is this one taking so long? Where are those containers? We're calling on. Go ahead.
Vaz need to give us some information where the container gone.
Yes, him can find them.
I wonder if he gets in it to do an investigation or him.
Maybe them
just busy.
Maybe them never ask him, Remember him to tell Buju to call him, So Buju thing went up. Maybe this not reach him ears. Maybe he's not aware of this situation. Maybe he's not aware.
But it's anything me on the wharf and the airport. He's ready to defend it, don't it?
Yes. So we want the container runway. Me think him a police. Well, he's an investigator. And sounds very efficient to me if him can investigate in less than 12 hours or less than 24 hours. Kudos to you. Let's get it going.
I feel let down by me now. I feel let down, mate.
Because what, you were impressed with the first investigation?
Yeah, I was. I tell you, man, I was in dreamland or something,
Yeah. We want to hear what happened to those containers of food that are not fit for human consumption.
They said flowers need to flower. So I wondered if any flower from the from Peru wasn't it too? The flower from Peru wasn't it?
Shala. The flower from what kind of flower that Peru?
Them say they call the white lady.
Or the flower where I come from, where Trump claims I come from Venezuela.
I'm wondering myself, so you know what I mean?
Well, we're still waiting and we're calling on Mr. Vaz to hurry up this investigation for us so that we can know what is happening with the 4 container load of food that were stamped not fit for human consumption. We want to hear what's happening to this.
I can stand by optimistic and hopefully I can get some answer from him soon.
All right, my brother. Enough respect. Where are you calling from?
England.
In the UK. Where in England? Tottenham. All right. Is your team that to Tottenham Hotspur?
No, I'm a football fan, man. I watch the game, you know what I mean? I'm a fanatic, you know what I mean? I watch the game, you know?
All right, sir. Respect and thanks for the call. Our number is 876-804-7072. That's 876-804-7072. That's the number to call. 20 minutes after 7 o'clock would be good. Yeah, man. Because the town of Port Antonio, when I go sit down here, so, and I watch the town. From the other MP, the day I tell you, so the town dirty and stink. And people have to understand me. Me call it as me see it. But now I go come here, so come sit down every day and not talk about what is happening in my parish. The town of Port Antonio needs urgent attention. Can't continue, sir. As soon as I send a message, I need the phone because there are some things that I want to play. News is that the IMF came to Jamaica, members of the multilaterals, and they revealed that the government of Jamaica has not contacted them since the hurricane. Maybe the government don't need them. And that's why we're bringing in Ralston Hyman this evening. Because this is reminder of 2008 when the global meltdown took place and the government of Jamaica at the time, led by Bruce Golding, the present Prime Minister Andrew Holness was leader of government business in the House of Representatives. Audley Shaw was Minister of Finance. And you still had people like Arbin Hill was around. And they waited too late and took the wrong agreement, hence crashing Jamaica's economy. So, we don't want it to crash again. Some people would believe that we want to see Jamaica do bad. No. We want to see Jamaica do well. And that's why we speak the truth, only the truth and nothing but the truth. And that's why we call out the things them that the government can take corrective measures. Those of you hypocrites who call yourself labor rats, out there supporting incompetence and bad management, you are not helping the situation. You are not helping the situation. Oh, all right, so he's saying that Parliament was cancelled today and the MPs having a meeting. All right, then, Comrade MP. If it's not possible this evening, then we'll do it tomorrow evening then. So, but if it's possible this evening any at all, after your meeting, you let me know. One love, my brother. Good job. So, the opposition members of Parliament will be having a meeting this evening. Parliament was cancelled for today because I was waiting from 2 o'clock trying to find out what is happening with the Parliament. So, no Parliament took place today. We still have to honor our debt to the IMF. So it would have been prudent for the government to contact them as soon as time permitted. Yes, that is what you would expect, that the government would be in dialogue with them, even trying to put a pause on our debt payment right now. You know, you're all yesterday say Nigel flying for come help. I don't know if I go, I'll do that go. But yes. Yeah, she did down our St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland with the Prime Minister and the leaders of CARICOM. But one other question, the Prime Minister for Trinidad and Tobago was not here. And then, hello, Then we are hearing that Trump has removed tariff from Trinidad goods. Hey, Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, President of the United States, is now saying that Trinidad will pay zero tariff on its goods that they are importing into the US. Export from Trinidad, zero tariff. I have sat here many evenings when we talk about the build-up of US forces in the Caribbean. Many evenings I said to you, when I talk about Trinidad is in agreement with what the US is doing. How you know say our Prime Minister no agree too? Well, what's she name? Kamala Prasad Bisesa. That's what she name? Prime Minister for Trinidad and Tobago. They are obviously in bed with the US. And they are in full agreement with what the US is doing as it relates to Venezuela. Trinidad, and Venezuela are very close. So is Guyana to Venezuela. They are close. In fact, I think I hear them say Trinidad and Venezuela were 6 miles apart. Guyana just the river, some river, I think. So, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? And why did the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago did not visit Jamaica yesterday? What? In fact, I think she said that she not really focused on the Caribbean friendship no more. Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Yes, she is looking at bigger friends. Trinidad now have no Woolipa Isle again. All right. Trinidad now have no Woolipa Isle again. I don't think so. I don't think so. My people, it's a sticky time, winner. Woo. It's a sticky time. Whole heap of things happen. But Trinidad used to be the richest country in the Caribbean. They are no longer that. I think they have been passed by Guyana. And up to the other day, Trinidad was buying oil in terms of ready oil from Jamaica. Petrojam was exporting oil to Trinidad. No, it's not just Andrew don't like CARICOM. The GLP is not a party that's the regionalization as something important. That's one of the reasons why they are not inclined to subscribe to the Caribbean Court of Justice. So don't be fooled by the Jamaica Labour Party. They want to stay with the Privy Council. Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to stay with the Privy Council. And the People's National Party is for the Caribbean Court of Justice. You see, I am still calling on the average Jamaican to participate in the management of your country. Man give Kanjus 16 days. What 16 days about what? What that? What that? The money Trump sent to Jamaica, he wants something back. Well, Jamaica presently votes wherever the US wants them to vote. So, and we and US have always been good friends. Good friends. We're not in their backyard though. We are their neighbors. I heard the man who came the other day to announce the additional $10 million said that Jamaica is in the United States backyard. No, we're not in your backyard, sir. We are your neighbors. We are your neighbors, close neighbors. But we're not in your backyard. 876-804-7072. We're taking your calls for the first hour. Then we're going to get into some serious discussion. Conrad O'Brien, big up yourself. And if you have not yet subscribed to his channel, the Conrad OB the fireman. Yeah, man. So it is a place to go. I took some time out today and I went back to listen to Dr. Alfred Dawes when the People's National Party held the press conference after the hurricane and some of the things that we were warned about and what is happening now in Jamaica as it relates to the breaking out of certain kind of disease and the possibility for more. The possibility for more. We don't want all of these diseases to break out because you see, because some people think them not live down a west, it can't reach them. But anyhow, these diseases break out badly around here. Just remember me, I want to know that one of the things it will reach us all about where we're there. It will reach us here. So don't think say it can't reach we because with our Portland and it break out down at Westmoreland, it can reach us. And we have to be careful. We have to be careful and stand up. Call out the government when the thing now go right. Sitting down and agreeing with everything that the government does, wrong or right, cannot help us. And that does not show patriotism by agreeing with the wrongs that has been done by the government, by agreeing with the slow movement of the government as it relates to what they're doing. In fact, what they're not doing, because it's more that they're not doing than what they are doing. Trying to find this piece with Alfred Dawes from that interview, from that press conference, when he spoke about the possibilities of what can happen if we don't act fast as it relates to the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Let me back up. The aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, if we don't careful, we have a whole heap of problem. And I don't want to see more people dying. It's about life that we're talking about. People to live. And we have to protect our people from Melissa. So I told you that today we found out that the government now contact the IMF. And what is the importance of the government contacting the IMF? You might ask, why is that necessary? Why is that necessary? It is the IMF that gives us what you would want to call the stamp of approval as a country. If IMF not lending you no money, nobody else not going to lend you none. So you have to understand that.
We're not playing. Let's see. If the IMF not lending you no money, nobody not going to lend you any. So we have to be careful how we are spending.
Breaking news. The IMF says Jamaica has not sought its assistance to deal with the inevitable balance of payment challenges, which will flow from the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa, but it stands ready to help. The U.S. government is...
So you hear that? How can you be waiting? How can you be waiting to contact the IMF? Eh? You can't wait. You can't wait. Mr. Olney said 30% of the country's GDP just after Melissa. Please correct me. Maybe I am wrong. Today he said 50% of our infrastructure is affected. And can we get clarity, please? Where was he talking today? I don't know if I had a thing where you sit down, so. Where was he talking today? I'm trying to find back Alfred Dawes. I don't know why I'm not finding that press conference. The last press conference that the PNP held. Let me take this clip from Mark Golding from that press conference because the entire press conference should come up. But I'm just seeing this one piece. Oh, this is the entire press conference. It's not just the one piece. This is the entire thing. So we're going to find it. We're going to find it. Let's find it. And see if we can get your memory back. Because this is one of the things what a lot of labor ranks don't like. Is when we talk the things them and they come true. And they don't understand. That is why a lot of people follow what we say and what we do. Alfred Dawes.
Dr. Alfred Dawes, Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine and Shadow Minister of Health and Wellness. When Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica, it was a catastrophic natural disaster. If we continue on this path where the government maintains hegemony over the distribution of aid and access to the most vulnerable communities by volunteers, if they try to do it alone, we will have an even more catastrophic man-made disaster. We are seeing a humanitarian crisis unfold before our very eyes. Ground zero was in eastern Westmoreland, a parish that I'm very familiar with, and the devastation that is seen there and in St. Elizabeth and in other parts of Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth overall. It is mind-boggling. No pictures or videos can do justice for what you see when you are driving miles and miles. The smells of rotting carcasses, the flooded roads. Healthcare has been teetering on the border of collapse because of the situation at Cornwall Regional Hospital and the overcrowding in the feeder hospitals. What we're seeing now is an exacerbation of that situation, where Lucy Hospital, Noel Holmes Hospital, is pretty much non-functional. Up to over the weekend, there was no way of contacting hospitals for referrals. They would just get critical patients as fast as possible loaded into an ambulance and send them off with a hope and a prayer and what limited staff they can afford to send on that journey. The Black River Hospital has been devastated, and Salvamar Hospital, they have major infrastructural challenges, but even more so, the staff, they are also homeless. They are also living out of cars. Many of them are hungry, and many persons cannot provide health care because they do not have the resources. We appreciate that the government has now opened the NHS stores and has started to send out supplies. But we must not be fooled into thinking that a field hospital being set up means that it is an appropriate response to a catastrophe of this nature. A hospital is secondary care. There is no primary care in any of the affected parishes at the moment. This means that the clinics are closed. It means that diabetics, hypertensives, persons with heart disease, kidney disease, those who have a diabetic foot ulcer, they are not being treated. And it means that they are going to have exacerbations and complications of their diseases. And already we are seeing where those who have access to the hospitals have been flooding the hospitals. We will see in the ensuing weeks an increase in mosquito-borne diseases. Within 6 weeks, we can expect outbreaks of dengue and whatever else is lying around, waiting for these appropriate conditions to manifest. The public health inspectors, they need to be empowered immediately so that they can start their food safety checks. They can inspect for water sources that they are potable, they have not been contaminated. Basic materials such as food temperature thermometers must be provided. We must increase vector control activities immediately. And this is not just fogging, but source control. Otherwise, we're going to see a massive outbreak of dengue. The gastroenteritis from the consumption of spoiled foods, already we hear reports of persons eating rotted or rotting carcasses. And the unavailability of potable water will lead to diarrhea, dehydration, and in the most vulnerable, the elderly, the children, and the pregnant mothers, it may mean death. We do not know what the true death toll is from the hurricane, but what we can expect is that if these public health issues are not addressed immediately, we're going to see far more deaths occurring in the aftermath of the storm, in this man-made disaster, than what occurred during the passage of Melissa, the natural disaster we're here to speak about. We must head this off. We must resource the hospitals. We must send relief staff to the hospitals. We must find a way to get healthcare in the communities that have been cut off up to recently and are still cut off. And the way we may fill that gap is by inviting and coordinating the hordes of volunteers who want to go in and give some health care. Medical missions have played a very important part in the provision of health care in far-flung communities. And it is this provision of primary care, the screening, the early intervention with the medications, the dressing of wounds, that have kept many persons from seeking health care at overcrowded hospitals. If we have dilapidated structures, if we have damaged structures that are understaffed, it is reasonable to ask that volunteers be coordinated to go and man these health centers in the rural communities through the different medical missions. So these things must be coordinated immediately. Organizations that want to donate food and especially water, they must be accommodated. I've had complaints and I've tested the system myself, and I don't want to be overly critical. That is not the tone I want to project here today. But those who want to give are being frustrated by the process. And what is happening is that they are trying to make the journey themselves. The roads are blocked up. On our mission on Saturday, One of the buses broke down, and the relief bus took about 4 or 5 hours to make what would normally be a 2-hour trip to relieve the staff that were left on that bus. The roads have been congested, and it is frustrating persons who want to donate, but we must set up a proper distribution network so that those who are impacted the most, irrespective of their antecedents, they get the resources that they need. It means not simply focusing on one particular area, but accepting that this hurricane tore through the entire Western Jamaica, and we must not ignore the plight of those who are in one parish. If the information that came to us through the media came late, and our attentions were already fixed on a particular area that was brought to the forefront of our consciousness. So in conclusion, my appeal is that we find a way to facilitate the donors of foodstuff, sundries, health supplies, and importantly, find a way to channel those who want to give service in the medical field so that we can organize relief missions to go to the communities that Nikisha spoke about, that Jalika spoke about, and others are bringing to the forefront of the nation's consciousness. We have to get medical missions into those communities, and they are coming with their resources, but there needs to be a greater collaboration between those entities and the government and the state agencies, as well as the opposition, because we have made ourselves available to work alongside the government. So again, we do not want to convert a natural disaster into a man-made disaster because of partisanship, but we should focus more on partnership. Thank you.
We do not want to convert a natural disaster into a man-made disaster. Conrad O'Brien, good evening. What you say?
Good evening, Colin. Good evening, Colin Bell, and indeed to your wonderful audience, Colin. I greet you well. That was the spokesman and health, Dr. Alfred Dawes.
Oh yes, you got that right.
Indeed, I had him earlier today on my program, Colin. I must tell you that I am extremely impressed with the young man. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I wish him well. Colin, let me tell you something. When I spoke to Dr. Dawes this morning, when I was journeying to Broadcast House, and what Dr. Dawes said to me, you know, my heart basically bled. I mean, in terms of just the care and the passion that the man has for his job, and, you know, the level of disappointment that he expressed with the parliament not being convening this afternoon to get along with the people's business. And I'm going to say this, Colin, and I'm going to reveal. But when I talk to another member of the same opposition, Colin, let me tell you something. You have some people who are in this for the people. And it's another male member of parliament and the opposition I'm talking about. There are some people who are in this for the love and for the people. And there are some people who are in this for personal self-aggrandizement. And I say it without any fear of successful contradiction, and it goes across the political divide. The fireman burns, Colin. My heart is bleeding when I hear a young member of parliament giving pass and saying that, listen, he takes this as nothing because parliament no keep all the while, and the fact that the cabinet and people are out there walking in Western Jamaica yesterday, that gave them a reason to take off today when you are in
What was
crisis.
the reason given for the cancellation of Parliament today?
I hear none. I hear none. But suffice it to say that that young member of Parliament was prepared to give an excuse to me to say basically, not on air.
And you're saying that young member of Parliament is from the opposition benches?
Indeed he is. Indeed he is. Indeed he is. And I'm saying, you know, that the Parliament is where you conduct the people's business. We're in emergency mood, Colin, and there's no good reason why the Parliament should not be held today to basically give Jamaican people more and better particulars as to what took place yesterday and what is the lay of the land. As a matter of fact, the member said that he would never call for the people to be evacuated out of the condition in Western Jamaica.
What?
You hear me say? It's all right. Go ahead, Colin. Go and conduct your program.
Where I say? He wouldn't call for the evacuation?
That is what the man said to me.
How will you not say? How will you not say, Obi?
When I made the point, you know what he was saying to me? He was busy trying to say to me that, listen, he knows my platform, and my platform don't represent the majority. When I told him that this is what people are saying that should be done, I would never ever reveal, not to you or to anyone, who the name of the person is, but just to suffice it to say that there are people who are on the opposition bench with that kind of mindset. I'm upset.
It couldn't be the football match why Parliament was cancelled. Football start 8 o'clock tonight. It's 8 o'clock the match will start.
You know that was what the MP Dawes said. Dr. Dawes said that, you know, one if it is a football match.
Cannot be. It's 8 o'clock a match. So you could have go Parliament, finish Parliament at 6 o'clock, and go a match 2 hours after. Couldn't be the match. Couldn't be the match.
I stretched it, Colin, to ask the question, because I was wondering aloud if it had anything to do with the fact that the Prime Minister versus Buchanan matter was supposed to mention today.
That's another one. But then again, the Prime Minister now got to quote himself. It's the lawyers that will deal with that. Did you hear anything coming out of that today?
No, I haven't heard anything so far. To be honest with you, I have not really dig too tough as yet. But I'm certain that I'll get something before the night is closed.
Normally, court will finish by 2 o'clock. Yeah, Andrew alone can't make Parliament no go on. Was the Prime Minister in the Parliament last week? He wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't in the Parliament last week.
He wasn't. You see, Colin, I believe that, you know, as Dr. Dawes was saying, because there is also another issue, Colin, where we know that the bulk of the disaster is in Western Jamaica, and we can name the parish. But guess what happened? You have some people who are suffering the similar fate in pockets of other constituency that we not hear much about. I know of people, women with children, who are in a cellar-like condition now because their roof has torn off, and we don't hear anybody talking about that even Audrey Marx's constituency.
Hey, we see some pictures coming out now, and I hope the Labourite bloggers and vloggers and supporters who are saying that the government is doing a good job, I hope they are seeing the pictures coming out of people putting up some board, hip-roof style, throw tarpaulin over it, and that's where they are living. I hope people are seeing these the old man that has been walking, telling the journalists that his house was totally destroyed and him spent 2 nights up our man yard on a chair and him a walk about the no know if the man gonna put him up tonight again because he has nowhere to go, he has no family, his son is a police and the son not talk to him. I hope they are hearing these people who are suffering.
That is a worthless boy for whatever reason. Because I don't know, even if my parents, may their soul rest in peace, I had wonderful parents. But Colin, even if my parents had done me something wrong when I was a youngster, was a child, when I was born, if they had given me away and so on, and I recognize that, listen, these people were my biological parents or whatever the situation is, Colin, I would have to put that behind me and basically do whatever I can for my parents. Is a worthless policeman. The man should have called in Pupa should have called out his name.
Let me tell you.
Expose him.
I think him called the first name, but you would know him by the first name, eh? But let me tell you something, Obi. Yeah. My father, I knew my father when I was about 10 years old. And I can say it right here up on public TV and radio. My daddy never mind me. But when he died, it was myself and my sister who live in London carry the bulk of the cost to bury him. And I love that man like a somebody who did mind me because I've always wanted a father. So
absolutely, Colin, and just the mere fact that his semen entered mommy and produced you know, that in itself, or sperm entered mommy and you are the product of it. That alone, Colin, you put certain things aside and say, here I am.
Yes.
Here I am.
I hope
because
so.
Colin, remember, there's millions swim around and you survive, you know.
Yeah, man.
I
hope though that policeman would have seen that video. It was a RGR reporter that was doing it. I hope he would have seen that video and reach out to him father and put him up somewhere, take him out at the night zoo. The man a walk and he might tell you how far him a walk from and him tell you which part him a go. I think TVJ now, RGR now have a TikTok page. That's where I saw it this morning. Some touching stories are out there. You see people living out the door.
Because they have no, Colin. They have no, and you know, all of us have to chime in on this because they have now said that, listen, they're new or they're a part of their main, this is a segue, but their who is it? Their general manager or whatever was watching them the other day, and they're now saying that a major chunk of their platform in terms of their revenue generation is going to emerge from their social media platform.
Of course, why not?
So what you see there is a part of the thrust, the new thrust of the RGR being a communication group.
Yes. Yes.
So you know.
So Obi,
yes, Colin.
It must be shocking though for you to hear an opposition member really coming down that way.
Colin, it pained my heart because I did not expect that from that particular young man. May I tell you the truth? The man was prepared to basically find every excuse as to why there is no big thing.
And he's saying that he's not in agreement.
He went on to say that, listen, while they were in government, the PNP or the JLP in government, Parliament no keep every day. So I have to dress back and say, but this is not ordinary times.
This is not ordinary days. These are not ordinary days. These are days where Jamaicans are living out a door, having nothing to eat, nothing to wear,
and defecating in open public and literally living at the defecation.
Yes, and a breakout of leptospirosis is beginning. People have died, and the cause of death is people are thinking that it's leptospirosis. And when you have the possibility of all these breakout to come, what
You know, Colin, I'm going to say this. I am absolutely sure I can put my neck on the block for this.
So
I am absolutely 1 second, Colin.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am absolutely sure that you would never ever get this, what I get from this person, from one, Zalika Jess. You would never get it from Dr. Alfred Dawes. You would never get it from Nikisha Burchell. I can talk for those three, because when and others too, but I single out those persons because when I watch them, I see their heart lay bare on the table for the Jamaican people.
I sent a message to a member of parliament a while ago, and I asked the question. My question to him is, what is the reason given for the cancellation of the parliament today? I got 3 responses. None, but 21 days, no plan executed. Is it that the government had nothing to come to the parliament today and were running from a batteration by the opposition, hence the cancellation? Because the MP said 21 days, no plan executed after Hurricane Melissa.
Absolutely. I was anticipating the sitting of Parliament today, Colin, because as you and I have been saying, we expect that gear to be changed, where the opposition is supposed to be battering out and bad and defy even the speaker to make their point in defending the cause of the Jamaican people, the young women, the older men, and so on. As we say, if some guys want soldier all things for them own and kind of did there where they basically watch certain operation and things like that in the space, fine. But
go on talk, Obi, I have to take that call. Go on talk.
Yes, it can't be that our people are out there in the condition that they are, Colin. It is unconscionable and it is bordering. It is bordering on what one can describe as wicked, right? The money that we have been getting from the various relief and so on, it's supposed to can use some of it to ensure that our people are in a better condition, Colin. We have facility. We can do it. We can treat our people much better than this.
Listen.
The gentleman that you hear talk about, Colin, you tell me, say, another thing that the person was saying, that we know our people, they don't want to move. Some of them now want to move and things because when they were encouraged to move during hurricane, they said that was then. That was then. The people are in field today. You know, a majority, the majority want to move.
Obi,
temporarily.
I would agree with him that some would not want to move. Some will readily move, and some have to move. Some are begging to be removed out of the situation. There are a lot of people down there. If they get that alternative to move, they will jump on it. So you can't use one judge all. Those who want to go should be allowed to go. Those who want to stay should be allowed to stay.
Absolutely. And remember also, Colin, that during leading up to the disaster, and we are still in the disaster, because the hurricane itself created disaster the people in. The government was saying that, listen, they were threatening prison action or arrest action in order for people to move. So if they recognize that the situation that our people are in, which they are dangerous to their condition, dangerous to their living, to their livelihood or their lives, then they can basically invoke that same action that they were talking about when the hurricane was impending.
Obi, let me tell you something. As a government, you are there to lead. We have some people who only God knows, only the will of God make them walk out in a road and vehicle kill them. Because some people cannot think for themselves. Hence, you have leaders who have to lead, who have to show people the right way. Yeah? Let me just take time out to welcome Caribbean Radio 97.9 HD4. That's Caribbean Radio 97.9 HD4. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show for yet another Tuesday evening. We're going to be with you from now up until 8 p.m. Call some people. Tell them to come join. We are coming to you live from Port Antonio, Jamaica. We're on the ground in Jamaica. We have gone into Westmoreland. We have gone into St. Elizabeth. We have gone into Hanover. We have gone into Manchester, Centre, and Trelawney. We are on the ground like the white line in the road. We know what is happening. Call all the people over there in Florida. Tell them that if you want to know what is happening on the ground in Jamaica, this is the program you must watch, the Colin Bell Show. We come to you every Tuesday evening on Caribbean Radio 97.9 HD4. We're talking with Conrad O'Brien, Conrad O.B. the Fireman. He's on News Talk 93 FM weekdays, Mondays to Thursdays from 9 a.m. until 12. O.B., we see the situation. Some people are saying you can't evacuate the people. We are saying that people are in there who we need to take them out. That old man that I show you. We saw a little boy on the road begging and him saying, mother, send him out because mother can't walk. We saw a next video with a nail tech who have a son. And she said she hurt her, she was in an accident and broke her foot in the knee and needs a surgery.
Mighty God.
She's not begging anything. She just want to get the surgery done. These people, we need to take them out. We know that there are people in there with diabetes. We know that there are people in there who they are on insulin and need refrigerated medication. They don't have electricity. Yeah, and you are telling me that we don't need to evacuate nobody who no crazy, who no mad, who no sick.
And I want to say this to you, Colin. I want to say to you that there is a public servant who is a high-ranking or was a high-ranking member, still a member of the Labour Party. And when I suggest the evacuation thing and so on and say the government should basically do this, he agreed with every word that I said. He agreed with every word that I said that should happen because that's a public servant who basically has a heart. And although he is affiliated to the governing Jamaica Labour Party, he believes that the government should take the suggestion from Conrad O'Brien, the fireman, and Colin Bell and others.
But Obi, I called Marlon Morgan because I posted on TikTok early out in the piece that we should move some of the people to the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium. And I sent the clip to Marlon. I tried calling him, I didn't get him, and he called me back. And he was in agreement. He was in agreement that, yes, we need to move out some of these people. I don't know how.
Let me say that person that I am talking is not Margaret, is not Marlon, is another person.
Right.
You know, just want to say that. So there you have it. Marlon believed that should happen, and the other person that I think should happen. You see, Colin, what we're seeing here is a kind of champion-like sort of approach from Prime Minister Holness.
Obi, when Katrina hit US, they evacuated the people from New Orleans. They took them out.
Absolutely.
I have a permanent picture in my head of Fats Domino coming out of New Orleans on a boat.
Yes. Right. And for those who may not know, for those who may not know the pedigree of the person, Fats Domino, Colin, just tell them who Fats Domino is.
You're talking about 3 nights a week. You're gone. 3 nights I've lost my trail on Blueberry. Good morning, Mr. Marley. No, bad big singer.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Boy, I forgot to carry a studio, Colin. Me a producer.
Sure, easy, man, easy. Good evening, brother Lee Croft. Good evening, Mama Joy, Sister Tanya. Good evening. And I'm looking for a family with children down in the West OB. I have a listener who wants to support a family maybe for a year. We'll send them something every month to keep them going. Person must have a child. I want somebody with a child who down there in the West who's struggling, and we're going to give them some assistance. Hold on, Obi, don't move. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Right, I just want to join the discussion you're having.
Yes.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, man, go right ahead.
Okay, first question. Do you know what the status of the marooned communities? There were some, I think, 25 or 27 communities that were deemed to be inaccessible.
I think that figure is down now. Let me ask Obi if him have it. I think that figure is down. But go ahead. Let me find out from Obi if that's. Yes, Carla, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Right. Why I ask you say is that I know when you have disaster, etc., that the first phase is usually a search and rescue.
Right.
That phase would have ended by now, or it ought to, because we're now 3 weeks today. I figure if there were persons...
Hold on, Carla. Hold a sec for me. Hold on. Yes, Carla, continue.
Right. So I figure I just wanted to know if there were communities that had not been reached as yet.
All right.
Secondly, the death toll. I have been doing some research, and it took me to Hurricane Maria, which hit both Dominica and Puerto Rico in September of 2017. And I saw some figures on Puerto Rico where they reported 64 persons dead. And under pressure, the figure was subsequently upgraded to over 1,000 and about 400 or 500 more. Ultimately, it ended up being almost 3,095, something like that. Hurricane and hurricane-related deaths.
Right.
And why I'm saying the longer we take to reach people, the more we are going to have hurricane-related deaths.
Of course.
The longer we keep people in unsafe and unhygienic conditions, the more we're going to have hurricane-related deaths. And there was something my research showed too, which, I'm wondering, I hope we don't get affected by that. The Puerto Rican government had to be sued to release the figures. There were some media houses, including CNN, that took them to court to release the death figures because they were hiding it. There was a cover-up.
Well,
I don't see what is the importance of a cover-up unless
why you need to cover up anything like that?
Right, unless there is negligence.
Well, you see, at this stage of the game, there are people who are contemplating if the government at this stage has been negligent. I don't know if it is too early to look at that, but as far as we see, the government is moving much too slow with the recovery and with getting people temporary shelter. Because if you leave people in a night cold and them dead from pneumonia, that is a death that is going to be attributed to Melissa.
Right. And the deaths, given the disease is breaking out, some of which may be infectious in the end.
Yes.
As I think you have made the point that it could spread to even places like Kingston and Portland and other places.
Of course, because we are go down there, you know.
Right.
And when we go down there, anything possible.
I fully support the suggestion to take the people, particularly the more vulnerable people, the elderly, the kids, the pregnant women, as Obi said, to get them out there. Not everybody going to want to come. Some going to stay, but I'm sure we haven't given them any alternative. If we give them an alternative, then we can say they chose not to.
We must provide the alternative, Carla. That is it. We must provide the alternative, Sister Cynthia.
And the final question I'd ask, Colin.
Yes.
I know there has been a lot of call for persons to be relocated, and the Trelawney Stadium keeps cropping up.
Yes.
What has been the government's response? Have journalists been asking this question at the press conferences?
No, I have never heard it asked at the press conferences. It's something that started right here, and there are other people who are saying it. Other people pick it up. Other people had the same idea because, as I said, great mind think alike.
Right.
And we're not hearing anything from the government about that.
A reasonable suggestion. And if we have the facility, why not move the people?
Lack of care, my love. We'll talk again.
As I said, the Puerto Rican death toll ended up at 3,095 in terms of hurricane-related and direct hurricane deaths. So we can expect that in Jamaica.
A word to the wise is sufficient. Thanks for the call.
Okay, all the best.
Yeah, man. Obi.
Yeah, man.
You have any numbers? You have any numbers on the communities that have been marooned? Where are we now?
No, no, I don't have the numbers, but I gather that we still have quite a few communities that are still marooned.
All right.
That is still the lay of the land. I didn't hear the person who was actually speaking just now, Colin. What was he saying?
The person was also asking if the fact that we've been putting out there that the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium is somewhere that could be used, places like the Bracco Village Hotel owned by the government could be used, if we have heard the government making any response to any of those. I told her no.
Absolutely not. We haven't, and that is why we continue to make the call. And that is why I'm expressing the view as to how disappointed I was to hear that particular individual said he would not make that call and all sorts of nonsense, you know. And I mean, Colin, you say, I think it was today, I was watching a video and I saw the people of Mexico protesting, putting pressure on their government and so on, and basically the government have to relent. Right now, I am watching the news. I'm watching today MSNBC. It's now MS News or MS Now. The name has changed. You're aware of that, Colin?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, they have changed their name now to MS Now. All right. Same personnel, everything, just a name change there. And I'm watching, Colin, and the American senators, they have basically pushed back, and the people, and more so, the people of the United States have pushed back now, and that hard stand that Trump had taken on the Epstein file to be released. They have voted now for it to be released, and so on. And Donald Trump had to relent.
There was a vote in the parliament. There was a vote in the House today.
Yes, and that vote carried that it should be released.
Well, that's good.
You know, and somebody, and hear what happened, Colin. Hear what happened. And our politicians here, from whatever side of the divide you sit, we must do decent things. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who nobody thought could have gone against Donald Trump. Her conscience could not allow her to basically allow Donald Trump to hold onto this file after Epstein, along with other cronies, and possibly Donald Trump in it, where they had basically abused young females. What we have in Jamaica now in the West, it's an open situation, it's an open season, Colin, for sexual abuse and other things to be taken, other advances to be taken of our women and girls in the space, Colin. It's a fact, that's the reality. And Dr. Dawes actually, make reference to some of those scenarios today. And he said that when somebody like him talk, and maybe you and I, Colin, people readily come and accuse us of being political, this has nothing to do with partisan politics. It has to do with decency and a heart for your fellow men. And believe me, Colin, as Bob Marley said, if fame, life alone, to just make him happy, you don't want it, Colin. And if we cannot stand up for our people, then we don't deserve living.
Exactly. And Obi, one other thing before you go, I want to make a call. To call out to the Jamaica Football Federation that every player going on the field this evening wear a black armband, mourning the lives of those who were lost by Hurricane Melissa. They didn't do it down in Trinidad. I don't know if they had a minute of silence for those people. I heard so. I am hoping that will happen this evening. And the other question, Obi, is that why our flags are not being flown at half-staff just yet?
Of mass. That's an excellent point you're making, Colin. Excellent point you're making, Colin. Elsewhere in the world, that would have been one of the first things that was considered. I just want to say this quickly, Colin, in regard to the point that you make with our national football team, popular called the Reggae Boys. Colin, one way or the other, we will see history at the National Stadium by way of a victory for whichever side. Of course, we're on the side of Jamaica. We are rooting big for the Reggae Boys. However, if Curacao would come out with a victory, it would be history because it would be the first time that they would qualify for the World Cup.
And they would be the smallest country to go to the World Cup.
Indeed. And if Jamaica, on the other hand, win this evening, they would also create history to be the country, the Caribbean country that is going to the World Cup for the second time. A colleague of mine said in studio today, "Hi Richard, hope you how you do?" And I said to me that listen, if the Reggae Boys, God forbid, if they should lose the remaining of the budget that they have, should basically donated to the hurricane relief here in Jamaica.
And Obi, it's not going to be an easy task this evening, Remember, we went down to Curacao, underestimated them and get 2-0. And from what I saw the other day, the Reggae Boys playing, I don't see the purpose. I mean, Cephas is a good footballer, but I don't see a team out there. I don't see a team.
Colin, let me tell you something. Curacao, and again, we are analyzing and looking at things, listeners. The fact of the matter is that our heart, first and foremost, and everybody knows that irrespective of what, when it has to do with Jamaica, all of us are there. So we are there with Jamaica. It's one Jamaica, and we are rooting for Jamaica. But looking at the thing, Colin, factually, as you said, it's not going to be a walkover. Curacao is coming, and they are going to lay their heart bare on the pitch, right at the office there at the National Stadium. It's going to be a humdinger, Colin.
Somebody's also saying that Haiti has a chance to go to the World Cup for the second time as well.
I have that. Could the person explain how would Haiti qualify?
Haiti is in another zone. I have not been watching the other zone.
In another zone.
Yeah, man, they are in another zone. They are not in this zone where we are. But
out of the other zone. That would be so exciting, Colin, for us to have two teams out of the Caribbean. We know we'll have more than two out of CONCACAF, but to have two teams out of the Caribbean, that would be exciting stuff.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to add before you leave us, Conrad?
Yeah, just want to say, Colin, in leaving that, as we always say, it's time. This is not ordinary time. We need to see extraordinary leadership. We need to see the Prime Minister, the Chief Servants, our Prime Minister, our Chief Servants. We need to see him basically show that heart that we know that he should have, right? And basically lead from the front, and not because this idea may come from a Conrad O'Brien, a Colin Bell, or so. Look at it and treat it for what it's worth. It is time for you to do the decent thing. Examine those persons who are most vulnerable, who would want to be out of the situation that they are in now, until and clear the space and ensure that you get those, because these people, Colin, who are vulnerable, who need to be removed. One thing that you'd have to do once you remove them is basically start the rebuilding process to get them back in a decent space of their own to live. So it's actually a time, Colin, where the proper analysis can be done in terms of social housing and so on, and get that going. I'm urging the Prime Minister to do so. And also, remember now that there are other pockets of Jamaica where people are suffering in a big way, and continue to be our brothers' people. I want to say a big shout out to our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. all the other countries, who basically made donation. I gather that Mia Motley out of Barbados, she pledged 4 trucks
for
the
compactor garbage truck.
Compactor garbage truck for the National Solid Waste Management Authority. I'm sure that my friend Audley Gordon is really, enjoying that gesture. And indeed, we wish Jamaica, the land we love, all the prosperity, and we hope that we will all all hands will be on deck for the rebuilding process, Colin. And finally, Prime Minister, do the right thing. Appoint that broad-based team that opposition leader Mark Golding have been asking for day one, and let's get the business of the country on in earnest.
Thank you, Conrad O'Brien. Thank you very much.
All the best, my friends. All the best. God bless you. Take
Blessings. Care. Over 1,000 people on the live. Somebody called the president of the Jamaica Football Federation. Let him know that we need to have the reggae boys wearing black armbands this evening. You have to have national understanding. What is happening nationally right now? You have to be in the know and understand what is happening on the ground. You understand? You can't play football this evening in the National Stadium and you don't have the team representing for those who lost their lives in the just past hurricane. You have to be sensitive to what is happening. Conrad just talked about that broad-based task force that the opposition has been calling for. Civil society has been calling for. Members of the media have been calling for it. So we need to now ensure that the country is moving in one direction. You need somebody to organize. Hello? Hold the line for me. You need somebody to organize the country, galvanize the country, the private sector who are out there doing a good job in assisting people. You need somebody to be coordinating all of that. And we need to ensure that when this is finished, Jamaica is standing, Sister Tanya. We have an economy that can stand up. We have the General, Professor Ralston Iman. Good evening, Ralston.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Where are you going, man?
Yeah, over there, brother.
A whole heap of things to talk about this evening, Ralston. The head of many of the Caribbean states visited Jamaica yesterday, along with members of the multilaterals. They were all here yesterday. You want to tell the people, some of the people who were here yesterday?
Well, we had the president of Ghana, Irfan Ali. We had Mia Motley. And we had the president of the IDB, Ilan Goldfan, here, and another prime minister. Not remembering his name.
The prime minister of Grenada was here.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yes.
Deacon, yeah.
Yes.
Deacon was also here, yeah.
Yes.
Saying that they'll fully support the effort in Jamaica because all Caribbean countries have this vulnerability to natural catastrophes. So we have to take a regional approach to this problem.
How does this look, though, on a prime minister and a party who don't really believe in regionalism?
Well, it looks very bad, and he should be ashamed of himself because here it is that the region has to come to Jamaica's assistance. Mia Motley indicated that she would help them in their discussions with the multilateral agencies, and the president of Ghana should help them in terms of the housing, roofing and all of those things.
What do you mean the prime minister of Barbados will help us with the multilateral? We need help with the multilaterals?
Yeah, man, she has a whole lot of clout with the multilateral agencies based on her competence and them. We have a finance minister who is extremely incompetent.
We have a finance minister who is what?
Extremely incompetent. Just for your, and the JLP shows wherever them come from can challenge me. The dollar just closed at 161.96, almost 162. despite all the intervention that we have been doing since the start of this year, because this morning the IMF says that Jamaica has not approached them for any assistance, although it stands ready to assist.
You said the Jamaican dollar closed at $161.96?
Yes, despite the 770 million in intervention since the start of this year and the mopping up of 145.5 billion in Jamaican dollar liquidity.
So
that was almost a 30% drop today after the IMF reported that no approach was made by Jamaica to them. The same thing that them doing in 2008 with the Great Recession.
But why wouldn't the Jamaica government, or before I get to that question, let me simplify this thing. Why would Jamaica need to contact the IMF?
Simple. The IMF's job is to provide balance of payment support. So when you have problems related to foreign exchange, then you go and check the IMF. The IMF signal is also a signal of confidence to the international community. Now, if your tourism sector is falling out, if your BPO sector is falling out, and if you have to be importing more food, more raw material, more capital goods, then it means that the shortage of foreign exchange will be exacerbated. So you need the IMF backstop in order to stabilize the situation. If you don't do that, then people run for cover and put the dollar under pressure. Simple.
If the IMF had come out and said, we have been in discussion with Jamaica since the hurricane and we will stand by Jamaica, you think that would have done something?
We would have seen an appreciation in the value of the dollar, because that would inspire a whole lot of confidence.
Hold on. Let's get this right. So you're saying that because the IMF came out and said Jamaica has not contacted us since Hurricane Melissa, the dollar dropped by 30 cents?
Yeah, that created a whole lot of lack of confidence and panic, because people have said that means that people are sensible. Plus, we have the track record that they did it before.
Explain to people what speculation does to the foreign exchange market, Ralston.
Speculation causes the value of the dollar to drop because it creates pressure on the dollar. And in order to prevent that drop from being steep, the central bank has to intervene. The central bank's interventions now become predictable, so that can't stop the dollar from dropping again.
Has the central bank intervened yet for this week?
But I'm going to tell you today that they are going to do it tomorrow based on what happened today.
So they have not
predicting that.
So they have not intervened yet for the start of this week.
No.
But Ralston, the Professor Iman, is predicting that they are going to intervene tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, based on what happened today.
You know, Raleigh, a whole heap of things you and I talk, you and Simon talk. And when we talk these things, one of the things I realize is that the people them come and them attack me and them attack you. Them say you drink rum, them say me an idiot. But I am challenging them this evening. As soon as you challenge the arguments that we are putting forward and beat the arguments, then call we anything. But until you can challenge the argument, take away on yourself.
Yeah, man.
Take away on yourself.
Yeah, man.
Beat up the argument first, and then we will present ourselves for you to beat us up. But if you can't beat up the argument, go sleep. Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have not contacted the IMF.
No.
And that means we have not contacted the IDB or the World Bank either.
Well, we saw Mr. Goldfein here yesterday. We saw the hapless finance minister standing up beside him down where they went in Westmoreland yesterday. So we have no news from the IDB or the World Bank that they have been contacted. And the IMF and those people work together. So it is clear that no serious discussions are taking place. And that is almost 3 weeks after.
Why Raleigh was Parliament cancelled today?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they are doing something else. Maybe they have cabinet retreat or whatever. But I don't, they are treating the Parliament very shabbily.
But if there was a cabinet retreat, wouldn't that be announced?
Yeah, man.
So, at this time...
It's part of the whole sloppy approach to the problem, man. I'll say that without any apology. Very sloppy. And it's a rewrite of what happened in 2008.
Raleigh, we finished the third quarter. Do you have the food bill for up onto the third quarter now? How much?
No, starting hasn't released that yet, but we are sure that it is going to increase. And there's going to be increased going forward. The BOJ just issued yeah, go ahead.
No, man, you go ahead.
The BOJ just issued a release saying that the hurricane will have a negative impact on the economy. Many people, particularly those in the Western Belt, won't be able to pay back their loans on time, and that the number of non-performing loans in the banking system will increase. And CB also said the same thing.
How many people?
Common sense.
How many people are going to lose their job or have lost their job down in the West? Bahia Principe close, so they're closing indefinitely, which will trigger redundancy. How many other hotels down there? What happened to the BPO buildings down there in the West? How many people will lose jobs?
BPO people were out of work about 2 weeks ago, so yeah.
20,000. And somebody's telling me that it's 1,800 from Bahia Principe.
Okay, right. So
what will happen now? What will happen now to those people who have loan payments?
They'll have to reschedule their loans. The banks will have to give them breaks. That is why the BOJ is out front telling us that the level of non-performing loans in the banking system will increase.
And we can't hear nothing from the government.
Right.
Have we heard how much money they have spent so far on the hurricane relief?
We haven't heard anything from the finance minister of Jamaica.
Nothing.
So what about PR for? This could happen nowhere else in the world, and that is why the people are panicking and buying the dollar, because they must say, we can't believe we have a national economic crisis and we haven't heard a word from the finance minister as to what she is doing. And we haven't heard a word from the IMF as to whether they have been approached. In fact, the IMF is saying, yeah, we're here. And I remember, that is what they did in 2008. In 2008, the IMF created what we call a precautionary facility and said, boy, come check with. Even if you don't need the money, come check with and keep it in your drawer. Them never go. Them say them never go into the IMF was mean and necessary or appropriate. And when them run down the country, unemployment runs to 13%, the reserves up before $1 billion. The current account deficit jumped to $13 billion, 13.2%. That's when them approach the IMF. And in discussions with the IMF, them fired Central Bank Governor Derek Latibody, the most experienced man in relation to IMF at that time. And then them go IMF and take a full agreement, take the money up front, and couldn't do that what them send come do. So we got locked out of the international capital market. So they have a very bad track record when it comes on to them thing there.
Is it Ralston that they are of the opinion that they might have enough to do what they need to do?
Well, if they are of that opinion, that would be a remarkably flagrant error, because they don't have enough to do what is necessary to do.
Are you sure?
They're talking about 1.1, 1.7 trillion in damage.
Are you sure they don't have enough, Raleigh?
Yeah, man. You sure? We're not asking.
Sometimes I want you to be wrong, you see, man. You'd imagine how I want you to be wrong.
Them can't tell me nothing, because in 2013 and everything, me and Dr. Phillips fixed the problem. I'm afraid to say that me was a right-hand man. Yeah? So, them little youth, none of them never in politics. Nigel Clark was in politics. Yeah? Andrew Wallace was the leader of government business at that time. Them things bigger than him. Yeah? So, them a come down and come go on like say them know them are doing them things. Yeah. They don't know what them doing.
Why? There's a clip I want to play, Raleigh, and it's something you talk about with you. But I see the news carry it again, and I'm wondering why they're giving this credence. Listen to this.
As Jamaica ramps up recovery efforts following Hurricane Melissa, local government representatives are calling for clearer communication.
With recovery now dominating the national agenda, municipal leaders say something is missing from the conversation. An honest update on Jamaica's net international reserves. At least 2 municipal leaders believe the reserves should provide a critical buffer in the aftermath of the hurricane, but they're questioning why no one in central government is openly discussing the status of the fund.
I'm somewhat concerned in that to date I have not heard anybody from central government talking about the $6.128 billion in our reserve. I'm hearing members of parliament on both sides of the fence saying that monies were promised, but they have not seen it. So my question is, while it is that the JIS reported on November 5th that we would need approximately $7 billion to bring back Jamaica to some sort of stability, Is it that we have enough? Why we're not hearing about the NIR? Is it that we're waiting until all our external partners or donor agencies, NGOs have completed their donation before we start spending from the NIR in a time when we're braced for several other things apart from regular infrastructural problems, because we're seeing a health crisis looming over Jamaica now, which threatens all parishes.
Their concerns deepened after mayors were advised to draw on the special grant for repairs, the SGR.
Let me stop it. Spending from the NIR. You and I spoke about that already, but we have people who never hear. Tell us what your views on that statement.
That would be a monumental exercise in futility and stupidity. It's a lack of understanding as to how the country is run. We have two accounts. We have the fiscal account that deal with domestic things, and we have the external account, of which the NIR is a part, that deal with external issues. We're already spending the NIR, in case that councillor didn't know. We spent 770 million out of the NIR since the start of this year, resulting in a drop in the NIR by 67 million in October, right? The NIR is like your international savings to deal with the problems when you're running out of foreign exchange and you need the NIR to back you. If you start to spend the NIR above what we're doing, 770 million gone since the year already, then more pressures will come on the dollar and people will bolt and the dollar will drop. And remember, for the benefit of that council and your listeners, every time the dollar drops by 1%, the debt goes up by $14 billion and the interest payments go up by $600 million because 62% of Jamaica's debt is denominated in United States dollars. So the media people and the council, they are ignorant as to how this thing runs. That is a part of the problem. We have too many people who don't understand these things, who are just talking.
And let me just tell the viewers, that was a PNP councillor talking rubbish.
Yeah, man, rubbish and talking. Garbage. Once we do that, all hell will break loose.
We call it how we see it. That is a PNP councillor talking rubbish.
Yep.
If you start spending from the NIR.
Spending more. Remember, we're already spending.
Well, if you start spending more. But what will happen to a rally if we continue spending the way we are spending from the NIR?
The thing about run down on the man, they're going to attack you more. The speculators are going to attack you more. Yeah? And that is why we needed to hear from the finance minister to say that we are already in discussions with the IMF, we are in discussions with the World Bank, we are in discussions with the IDB and external bilateral partners. Yeah? And this is the probability in terms of the flows that we could see. Yeah, and we're already in discussions with the Bank of Jamaica and the Jamaica Bankers Association as to how we'll get credit to the small business people and all of those people as part of the economic recovery plan. We need an economic recovery plan which must indicate what is it that we are doing in terms of our external partners. What we need now is more foreign exchange rather than less foreign exchange.
So how are we going to get more foreign exchange, though, Raleigh? The bread basket, which is St. Elizabeth, is out and maybe will be out for another year.
Right. So which is the point that I'm making. That means that you are going to be importing more. So that is why you need to get a backstop from the IMF. The IMF has all those facilities, resilient sustainability facility. We need to get a backstop from the IMF. Once you get that backstop from the IMF, it will trigger more funds from IDB, World Bank, and those places because they work together. If the IMF not to deal with you or you don't approach the IMF, the money don't want to give you money because the IMF is like the executioner who tell them to ensure that people can get back their money. So the IMF seal is a seal of confidence.
Yes. So when we go now and get this money from the IMF rally and borrow a little more money, with debt to GDP is going to go in the reverse.
Which is what I said, but it is in the reverse right now because remember, the GDP is now down by between 32 and 40%. So right away, that number dropped already.
And that's our gross. What is our gross domestic product now? What is that now?
$3.482 billion. I remember 1/3 of that now gone.
Go again?
3.482 trillion. I remember 32 to 40% of that has been wiped out by the hurricane.
So that's about a third been wiped out.
So the debt to GDP gone up back.
So if a third been wiped out, we're looking at our gross domestic product now at about 2.48 trillion.
Right. And the debt is 2.3 trillion. So check out that.
So we're gone back to about 100%?
Ah. So that's why you have to recover fast to get back to which part. That's the point I'm making. The longer it takes to recover, and the more you have to strain.
But how we are going to recover fast, Raleigh, when we're not seeing the government out there 21 days after the hurricane? The government is not out there beating the ground, getting things done. In fact, Raleigh, when I went down there, I don't see no government agency on the ground.
The people are saying that I was the hapless finance minister like a child beside the finance minister. That is why Dr. Phillips said, boy, we have to encourage them our plan for runway.
What Dr. Phillips said? We have to plan for runway.
We have to encourage them and try them our plan for runway.
You know a song where Buju sings, say, I'm a living while I'm living to the Father I will pray. Only him know how we get through every day with all the hike in the price. Arm and leg we have to pay while our leaders play.
Right.
Who can afford to run will run. Here is the question, Raleigh. What about those who can't?
Right, and based on how America is running, majority of us can't.
Ralston.
Because what thing made them carry in the news, again, me assure the lack of understanding in the media. What thing made them carry is where Letitia James said that Jamaican must get some special treatment because of the hurricane. The fact that is Letitia James said that means that Donald Trump never did that.
Letitia James is a Democrat.
Him hate her like poison. So that's why I say local media don't really understand them and run up on and carry them thing. Them thing they improbable based on who it come from. If it come from somebody else,
maybe
that can't die. Yeah.
Hold on there, Raleigh.
What them doing, man.
Hold on there. Let me see if I have a question. Hold on. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Just one quick question.
Yeah.
Should we say we are in a recession?
All right, let me ask Raleigh that. Yeah, Raleigh, you were saying?
Yeah. Mr. Colin from she, him not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it.
No.
Marsha just called, should we say that we are in a recession at this time? Not yet, right?
Not yet, but the next set of data coming up in the next couple of quarters is going to show that. BOJ don't acknowledge that already.
So you are...
Based on our government, a move, we could have ended up in a depression because they must slow walk the thing, them clueless and run up and down like either. Colin, them do it already, you know.
Yes, I am aware. 2008, they said that the global recession would benefit Jamaica.
Jamaica, yeah.
And we spoke about all of this leading up to the last election, you know.
Correct.
All of this we spoke about. But Raleigh, I want you to explain to the listeners on Caribbean Radio, 97.9 HD4 over there in Florida. I want you to explain to them, what does it mean to Jamaica, the fact that tourism is down, our export are going to be down, we are going to be importing more food. In fact, even though we have the hurricane, we are going to import more oil and gas.
And capital goods, bulldozers and tractor vehicles and all of them, we have to import more of them things. All right, so watch it now. Last year, the trade deficit, the difference between our physical imports and our physical exports was $5.42 billion. You follow me?
$5.42 billion US dollars.
Yep. And the money we get from tourism was 1.76 billion. And net remittances, difference between inflows and outflows, were 3.128 billion. So them things that couldn't cover the trade deficit. Now, the money we get from remittances and tourism and BPO we used to cover the trade deficit. Now, if you can't cover the trade deficit, you have to go in your reserves. Yeah?
Which we have been doing.
Which we have been doing, and that is why the dollar is under so much pressure. Now, while you're trying to rebuild those sectors, because people are saying this is a long-term thing. This is not tomorrow. This is not next week. This is a long-term thing. So you need a cushion. You need a cushion of the IMF and your multilateral partners where you know say, yeah, we have some bullets in my drawer. That means IMF money. So the man have things them called precautionary money. When you have to use the money, you want to make sure you have the agreement and you access it. So when you need it, you can go for it. So that is a signal to the speculators on the market that, yo, him still have ammunition enough. Right now, I tell the man, him say, we don't have no ammunition.
And then with a weak finance minister.
Yeah, man, clueless.
That takes away more of the confidence from the market.
Precisely, yeah, man. Because nobody know no confidence there. I should demonstrate why we don't have no confidence, why we don't have no confidence there. And that's why me and Martin with the confidence that the multilateral partners have in her. I say, yo, we help them. Because she say them are idiot.
You think they're going to accept the help?
Well, they don't have no choice. And me I say, people like me and you can't afraid of them and stand by and make them not take the help. Because Dr. Phillips said, is either we help them or run away.
So we have to help the government. And I said it earlier this evening on the show that those GLP trolls that just attacking people, but they're not attacking our argument because we don't mind the attacking or what we wanted to do first is attack the argument. Show us figures to say that rally is wrong. And this is where we are. We are at a better place. We want to see that, you know.
Yep.
But we know rally ain't wrong.
Yep.
But we are saying to the GLP trolls, stand down. You don't understand what is happening. The thing bigger than you. Stand down. The election just done. We are willing to assist the government. Ralston Iman, tell us some of the things that the government should be doing. No, them should have started already, but them not start. Tell us some of the things. Give us a list of the things that the government of Jamaica should be doing now.
First thing. Yeah, that me and the most credible finance minister agree upon. Them need to set up what we call a National Office of Reconstruction, which is like EPOC, because them can't manage it. Yeah? So after them set up that Office of National Reconstruction now with engineers, academics, professional people, then them have an evacuation plan where you evacuate the people and clean up the place. Yeah? In the same time, the finance minister must come up with an economic recovery plan which sets out in detail what is it that we're doing with our multilateral partners, what's the level of assistance we're going to get from our multilateral partners, what is it that she's discussing with the Bank of Jamaica and the Jamaica Bankers Association to bring the interest rates down, extend the moratorium to the people in the small business sector so they can get up back and running. But the first thing we need is a move away from this partisan approach and to set up the National Office of Reconstruction. Well, Dr. Phillips, when we couldn't get no money because of them in 2012-13, Dr. Phillips never have no ego and no political ego. He makes sure set up EPOC because he said this is a matter of national survival.
Yes.
When we're faced with the same situation now, the only difference is that them time we couldn't get no money from nobody. We get money from everybody now.
Yes.
And it's a partisan approach them I take to the thing.
But what is the what is it if they believe that they can do it alone? Why do we not just allow them to do it alone?
Yeah, the man said if we allow them to do it alone, I better we run away. Because them don't know what them do. At 21 days, them look like them know what them do.
Yeah, but you're saying Ralston say he who knows and knows he not and knows not.
Me just get something from Glenn Christian and them man at the distributors. The man must say, oh, by the way, we have 6 months inventory. But you're the problem. We can't get the food into the people because the whole of the place is block up on the money and clean up the place so we can have access to the people and to carry the thing them to the people on time.
So the business people can't get the goods out in time because the place block up.
Yep. And the man I wonder what them take so long to clear up the place then. So everybody as you said them don't know what them do. Yep.
Is there another press conference scheduled for this week?
No, I'm not about nothing. I was tired of them clown show, brother. Nothing will come out of them. But the people who want a press conference, the people who want action, want evacuation, near all the minister of it, yeah? Dr. Daz, weeks ago, Dr. Daz talked about the probability of leptospirosis and all kind of disease.
Yes.
And a man who don't know nothing about medicine, I tell the man about the man that caused national alarm. Today we hear tough and I said, by the way, we're trying to clean up the dead dogs and the carcasses because
yes. Aside that the government is now going to try and bury the dead animals. 3 weeks after the hurricane, the government is now saying that they are going to try and bury those dead carcasses.
Yeah, man. Them brother to get fired, man. I joke business in that man. Joke.
Me no know. Me I beg for people start love people again because some of the response that we are getting from the labor right trolls and supporters sound to me like they don't love people. So Ralston, we need to go to the IMF. We need to put this Office of Reconstruction together. We need to get a plan.
You need to go to IMF. You need to go to IDB. You need to go to World Bank. Yeah.
What about the Caribbean Development Bank?
Yeah?
What about the Caribbean Development Bank? We need to see them too.
Yeah, man. All of them multilateral partners there because you ever need the money.
Yes.
Remember, I know. Tax revenues are done. Up to today, tax administration tell us most of them offices in Western Jamaica are open.
Still not open yet.
Yeah, that means the tax revenues are done. So I forget borrowed money. Yeah, IMF money out of the fiscal account. The money we get from the World Bank, IDB and CDB. That are the money we can use from the fiscal account to build back the place and sort out the people in. Again, one thing that I remind the people about. When them bankrupted the country and they get to GDP, more of them take me on and call any one of them right now. So 147%. One thing with the man them tell Dr. Phillips, so we have to work with them resignation every day. You have to find a way to pay down the debt fast. So him say, all right, we'll take 11.45 billion from the National Housing Trust for 4 years to deal with this problem. Andrew will let's carry the government to court.
Yes.
For that.
Yes.
Yeah? And after the IMF agreement terminated in 2016, them still take the money for 10 years. The amount of money them take for the 10 years is equivalent to the amount of money them overpay the debt by, while the people them now have a good house to live in.
So that is also another $100 billion.
$115 billion, yeah.
They overpay the debt by an estimated $100 billion. They took $100 billion from the National Housing Trust, and they have spent close to $1 billion US trying to defend the dollar. So that's another $160 billion.
Yeah, whatever to stop doing that now and use some of the money there to provide some proper housing to the people at affordable rates and use up some of the land them where the government have, where them sit down upon idle and stop use the land them to build houses where the people them can buy. We have to stop the housing trust fund that have been part of the reconstruction plan now because that should have stopped 10 years ago.
Will the government needs to provide grants to the people, so to some of our small business people?
Of course. Yeah. So I talked to David Lowe from the Development Bank of Jamaica tomorrow morning to watch the space about what the DBJ plan to do.
Yes. So grants must be a thing for people. Because look at this, Ralston. A man, let's say a man have a shop, him have a bar, him have 2 vehicles, him have a house. And that he had that up to the 27th of October. On the 29th of October, him have no house, no business, no vehicle, want to wash away, mash up, no money. What will the government have to do for somebody like that?
Him house full of mud, him live amongst whole of dead animal, him now have no toilet for going on, them thing there.
And him have a loan. And him have a loan with the bank.
Precisely. So that is why we are saying, all them things there, we need fear from the finance minister. She must outline a comprehensive strategy. Then like the people them from BBJ come and do with the micro side of it. As Dr. Phillips used to do, a comprehensive strategy, and then the people them come with micro. Yeah, that is how you inspire confidence. You don't know nothing about finance or what you do.
What advice you have for the Minister of Finance, Raleigh?
Well, what I said to the Minister of Finance, you have 21 days. You need to develop a national reconstruction plan, which includes what you have been discussing with our multilateral partners.
Hold on, Raleigh. She have not been discussing anything with them. The IMF tell you that.
Right. So I'm telling her that she needs to start doing that.
Yes.
Yeah? Yep. And you need to tell her what is it with the Bank of Jamaica issue a statement. She should be the one who issue statements and say, this is what I've been discussing with the Bank of Jamaica. This is what I've been discussing with the Exim Bank. This is what I've been discussing with the Development Bank of Jamaica. This is what I've been discussing with the development partners. This is how we are going to do this. These are the timelines. Yeah.
Who Ralston? Who is the finance minister's advisors? Who are the advisors to the finance minister?
Well, I can't tell you now. Because
you don't know that?
Yeah?
You don't know that?
Yeah, well, I know the financial secretary, but I mean, the financial secretary is an experienced person.
No, but don't they have some consultants?
Well, me about some brother, I never know them man, they know about finance. And to me see it look like the prime minister or the finance minister, yeah? And it look like there's no finance minister because the prime minister don't know about finance.
Who are the advisors to the prime minister?
Boy, look like him advise himself, brother.
Hold on, the man. Then Ralston, you don't know who shouldn't these be public knowledge? Who are the advisors to the prime minister? The advisors to the finance minister? Who are the consultants?
Well, from a technical standpoint, just about them, yeah. The public should know that, but from a technical standpoint, you have the Bank of Jamaica governor, you have the brother when you Wayne Henry from the Plan Institute of Jamaica, yeah. Them people me know of. Me don't know of nobody else, yeah, who are advising.
Somebody's asking. Yesterday evening, I was talking to Al Edwards, and I think he said Nigel Clark is here. I don't know if he was joking or is that serious. Is Nigel Clark on the island?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to your knowledge?
No. Not to my knowledge. We don't know of that.
Ralston?
But I'm sure that if he was here and he was managing the thing, he would have the better than she.
Well, you always the same name that go on with nothing, but you look like you'd prefer him right now.
But I prefer him more than she right now, man. Trust me. Yeah, because he made the mistake of overpaying the debt and left us vulnerable. From she come then October after I'm leaving. Can you remember anything that she do or said?
Well, she said you could have put on $2,000 a month to buy a Pro Box. Caribbean Radio 97.9 HD4.
Well, me tell you this. So, say if you say we bipartisan. At 37 years, me I deal with this thing. Yeah? And apart from Foggy Mullins, yeah, she's the worst finance minister Jamaica ever had.
And Foggy Mullins was a PNP finance minister.
PNP, all right, that me I try to tell you. So we have to them say we're not biased. Me have the most experience in that thing. 37 years, and she had the worst apart from Foggy.
And you have not gotten a call from them yet, Ralston. With all that is happening, they have not given you a call.
Oh.
The government.
The man, not did man like me, man.
Why? But why? The Prime Minister talks about unity, all hands on deck. Why they don't call you?
Because as I said, they're not dealing with no bipartisan approach. Yeah, them know say me was Dr. Phillips' right-hand man. Them never ask Dr. Phillips yet, them do nothing.
And for some people who've been talking, because they thought, you know, a whole heap of fools out there on social media, they thought that you were advising Omar Davis, you know.
I was Omar Davis' nemesis.
See him like how Ralston beat Faval. He used to beat Omar. In fact, them time the Ralston, I used to wonder if he was a Labourite, you know. I swear to God.
Yeah, but seriously though, Colin, is personally denigrating to call Omar Davies' name and Faval Williams' name in the same sentence.
Absolutely.
Don't ever do that again.
Absolutely.
The last time Jamaica grew by 3%. I'm going to tell the trolls them can check it.
Yes.
Omar Davies was the finance minister. The Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility was signed off by Omar Davies on June 1 of 2007.
And that's the one that pays 90 million US.
Right, precisely, already.
Yes.
Them talk about FinSAC. Despite FinSAC, Omar Davies brought the debt to GDP ratio from 262% where Mr. Seaga left in 1989 to 115% in 2007. Yeah?
Yes.
Poverty was 9% in 2007. Unemployment was 9% in 2007. The fiscal deficit was 5% of GDP in 2007. And Jamaica's net international reserves were $2.4 billion in 2007, coming from minus $500 million under Mr. Seaga. Omar Davis is the first man who passed 12 straight IMF tests and paid off the IMF.
And said bye-bye to the IMF.
Yep.
What year was that?
Yeah?
What year was that?
1995, and then we went on a staff monitoring program. A staff monitoring program is where the IMF come and check off the Yadua area and say, yo, man, everything good. And we never go back to the IMF until they mismanage the financial crisis in 2010. So check it from 1995 to 2010. 15 years.
Somebody's asking what you think about you Small, who was a finance minister as well.
Well, him was top of the line, but in Faval can't compare to Small line. Foggy and Faval can't compare to Small. But him was the top of the line. Omar Davis took over from him.
So you say Foggy Mullins and Faval are battle for last. Who would have last? Foggy or Faval?
Foggy. That's what we fear.
Where's the Foggy worse than Faval?
Yeah, but Foggy just never understand the subject.
Okay. Raleigh, big up yourself. You said tomorrow morning. Who you have on tomorrow morning?
Dr. David Lowe from the Development Bank of Jamaica. He'll tell us what he'll be doing for the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises sector.
Blessings, my brother. Thanks.
What told them that I have no question? What them there?
Them
run, right?
Well, they are here learning, and then them go sit down now and call who them want to call and say, Ralston said this, and then them say you drink rum and me smoke weed. And we are idiot.
Tell them to call broker themselves.
Them say Keith Duncan assisting Faval with financial plans.
Yeah, I mean, that, to me, that don't make a whole lot of difference.
Raleigh, we'll talk. I'll be tuning.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Peter Phillips make them money prominent in a macro business. You know? Them money come at EPAC, come learn about macro business. Them money does them little micro thing around them little institution. Richard Biles and Pete Duncan. Them was in a macro planning before Dr. Peter Phillips created EPAC. Them money come at EPAC, come learn about them things.
So them what debt of gratitude to Dr. Peter Phillips?
Precisely. Make them prominent even though they don't have certain knowledge. Remember that.
Raleigh, it's a whole heap of things.
None of them can contradict that.
I'll go and talk to Dr. Kenneth Russell in a little bit. But tell me something, Raleigh. When we go borrow this whole heap of money now and start building back, how we going to grow the economy to spur that kind of growth that is needed?
That is how I say. So watch me. You have to build back the country's capital stock. When you build back capital stock, houses, roads, bridges, it have a big multiplier effect on the economy. And whole if our capital works, we have to do now because we neglect that for years. Yeah? So that will give you a fast spurt. Then we have to build out agriculture. Then we have to build out the creative industry we talk about. And if people really conscious and look where we're going, look on the response of the people in the entertainment industry in comparison to the government of Jamaica. Check it out.
You know, one of the questions that I want to put on the table, Ralston, what role is Babsy Grange playing in the recovery? Because I said it to you the other day that this is an increasing opportunity for the creative industry to grow.
Yeah, man.
And there are some things that ministry should be doing right now to ensure that we make some money out of Melissa. The question is, what is the Minister of Entertainment doing in this recovery?
Yeah, so we need to hear from her. That is why we need to hear what is the recovery plan. Because the recovery plan must include building out by the country infrastructure, housing infrastructure, drain, river training, gully infrastructure, the creative industry, the agricultural sector, energy policy. All those things have to be key in the recovery plan.
And get that logistics up going.
Get the logistics up going. All them things. We just get a report from Kingston Ward how the amount of money they make from logistics and them terminal operations and all of them things there. And they must say, yo, we never get much damage from Hurricane Melissa, so up and running, CMA. Yeah. So I tell you about the potential of them things there. Yeah. So those are things that we need to focus on, but you can't do it if you are going to take a partisan approach because them don't have the talent over there. When Dr. Phillips was in a problem, he never said, boy, this is just a PNP thing. In search of the talent like we, them as me I tell you about Biles and Duncan. Yeah? Norman Grant from the agricultural sector. Eileen Davis White from the trade union sector. So we have to support the workers affected and nobody from the trade union. Yeah?
Where there is no council, the people fall.
Yeah, man.
Where there is lots of council.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have security.
That's big man of the country. We can't make them youth to them win an election come go and like say them are bosses and them are the people them servants. We have to wake up people and know say them brother they are servants and you put them there. So nobody make them come with them little partisan thing and make them suffer. The people have to rise up and make them know, say, we not appreciate that. We want a national committee because we know we don't have the talent. Yeah, 21 days I want to show that clearly say we don't have the talent to deal with this thing.
No plan.
Yeah?
Raleigh,
Yeah,
I know
man,
you're
no
a
plan.
football man. This evening, Curaçao Reggae Boys in the National Stadium.
Yeah.
What you say?
All right, here's my thing now. I'm gonna like them win, but watch me now. It show you how the country I go back way. When we look on where we were in 1998, yeah, we now have Panama for play, we now have USA for play, we now have Canada for play, we now have Mexico for play. We are struggling as one with Curaçao and them little side. It tells us that we have a back way. The football is not being developed.
Beat we up 2-0 over there.
That's the point me I make. We get some little youth from England. The Jamaican football thing now developed.
That is the next thing, Raleigh. That is the next thing. I am looking at the team and I'm saying these people don't even have national consciousness. In the match between Trinidad and Tobago, I was looking to see every reggae boy have on a black armband mourning the people who lost their lives in the hurricane. That was non-existent. And I am calling on them. We have over 1,000 people watching this right now on YouTube. We have thousands listening to it on Caribbean radio. Somebody must call the JFF and ensure that when the boys run out at 8 this evening, every man have on a black armband mourning the loss of the people who died in Hurricane Melissa. The flag must be flown at half-staff. A minute of silence must be done.
Colin, you why not see that? Most of the men on the side are just share opportunities. You know? They never get a game to play for England and then career are done and then want to reach World Cup. So them see Jamaica as a soft target.
Yes.
When we go World Cup in 1998, about 5 men would have from England, you know. Most of the side are Jamaican. So that
about 3 men qualified, about 3 men come qualify, and then 2 more men join.
Precisely.
Yeah, Burton, Paul, Fitzroy Simpson.
Yeah, Robbie Earl.
Robbie Earl.
Most of the men were,
Robbie Earl played the qualifiers, or Robbie Earl playing at the World Cup?
No, he played some of the qualifiers.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Most of the money we have a man like Tatty Brown and Theodore Whitmore because
Steve Malcolm.
Yeah. Shorty Malcolm, Peter Cargill,
Linval Dixon,
Ricardo Bibigarden,
Ian Pepe Goodison.
Yeah.
The man is Anandi Low, Walter Boy, the man stand up like a rock. Had pride and dignity when they put on the color. You could have seen the effort, the commitment. I am not seeing it in this team.
Right. So part of the development of the creative industry, we have to start develop them. There's no development taking place in Jamaican football. Just get some of the English youth, give them passport, and then just come here on a vacation. Whether we lose or not, it no matter to them. They are joke business, brother. Joke. We have to change up them things then. Yeah.
Respect, Raleigh.
All right, brother. Bless
you. Yeah, man. One love.
Cool.
Remember, my people, tomorrow morning, every morning, week mornings, Ralston Iman is on Power 106. You have to check him out. Yeah, man. Telling you about Jamaica's economy. We want to talk to, we're going to join and try to get to Dr. Kenneth Russell. But I can play about this clip here where the news are playing.
As Jamaica ramps up recovery efforts following Hurricane Melissa, local government representatives are calling for clearer communication.
With recovery now dominating the national agenda, municipal leaders say something is missing from the conversation. An honest update on Jamaica's net international reserves. At least 2 municipal leaders believe the reserves should provide a critical buffer in the aftermath of the hurricane. But they're questioning why no one in central government is openly discussing the status of the fund.
I'm somewhat concerned in that to date I have not heard anybody from central government talking about this $6.128 billion in our reserve. I'm hearing members of parliament on both sides of the fence saying that monies were promised, but they have not seen it. So my question is, while it is that the JIS reported on November 5th that we would need approximately $7 billion to bring back Jamaica to some sort of stability, is it that we have enough? Why we're not hearing about the NIR? Is it that we're waiting until all our external partners or donor agencies, NGO?
Well, you heard Ralston a while ago that the government should not touch the NIR like that. And therefore, we don't understand why they're still playing that clip. We have Dr. Kenneth Russell, Member of Parliament for South East Sentan, on the line, and the Shadow Minister of Education. Dr. Russell, good evening.
Evening. How is everybody doing? How are you, Colin?
We're holding it together, you know. How are you doing?
Why, we are in the midst of a life-changing battle, and I think if we don't fight and win, if Jamaica is going to be very different at the end of it. Either way, it's going to be different, but it's going to be up to us. If we continue the way we're going, we're kind of dark.
Why wasn't there any sitting of the Parliament this evening, Dr. Russell?
Well, actually, before I go on, just to correct, I am not the shadow spokesperson on education. I am the shadow spokesperson on community and rural and community development.
Rural and
just
community.
Want to make that clear.
I am mixing it up because you were the Deputy Shadow Minister of Education before the election. Sorry about that.
That is true. That is true.
Right.
To your question, we don't know. Normally, when there's no sitting, at least from my experience so far, you don't really get a reason. You get notification that there's no sitting. So no reason was given.
When did that notification come?
Late yesterday afternoon. Late afternoon yesterday.
Do you find it strange that in a time like this where we have lots of stuff dealing with, no parliament was held?
There are two levels to this. One is the fact that we're going through this moment as a country. And as I said earlier, if we don't get it right, we're going to be in some deep trouble. And so it's important that we're having the conversations. And you'd notice how rich the previous two parliaments have been, a chance for us to talk about the issues and to push those who are in the administration to do right by our people. Mm-hmm. So I think the crisis that we're facing demands that. And I agree that it's odd that we're not meeting and we're not having those discussions. But secondly, I also find it, as a new member of the parliament, I would think that in order for you to cancel a sitting, you must have some very, very, very valid reasons, and those reasons should be communicated. I don't think a sitting of the parliament should be, at the will and fancy, I guess, of the administration, which is what seems to be happening. So, those are the two concerns I have about this. One is the where we are as a country and what we should be focused on, and the fact that a cancellation doesn't allow us to continue that conversation. And then secondly, just want to make sure that we don't end up in setting a precedent of just cancelling sittings without giving, valid justification.
What kind of damage, if any, occur in your constituency?
So, as you might be aware, my constituency, South East Sentan, is geographically the largest. And while the eye didn't go across South East Sentan, we were significantly affected. We are in that second category, the way the country is divided into the worst affected, which is the western parishes, and then you have the middle parishes, including St. Anne, which is basically the second worst affected, if you will. So the damage, I have received the reports alone, which I have received over 1,500 reports of damage to houses, roofs lost, houses completely demolished or significantly damaged as a result of the hurricane, and we're not counting the minor damages. So the effect on the housing stock is significant, and it's going to take a long time to recover from that. We have communities where just about every roof, if not blown off completely, blown off partially, if it wasn't a slab roof. And then, of course, the farms, the farms have simply been decimated. We really have a complete rebuilding job to do, because just about everything in agriculture across the constituency is severely affected. And so we suffer both in those terms. But then the other aspect of this is the fact that in the tourist industry, where a lot of the people from my constituency work, you know that there's a downturn, layoffs, reports of closure, and so on. And so a lot of jobs as a result of that is something that is affecting my constituency. So there's the direct and the indirect effect of the hurricane. The other aspect of it, the health component, even though we still have large bodies of water standing in some areas of Moneague, some areas of Concord, Pedro River. And so the conversations that we're having as a country about risk from these bodies of water is a real one that is challenging my constituency at the moment. So still over 90% of the constituency has no electricity, and similar a percentage has no piped water, and similarly internet connectivity, telephone services, and so on are still out, or very inconsistent if it does work for a moment. So we are in the midst of it. We're challenged by what's going on, but we're fighting back. We're building back little by little.
How the people are managing, because your constituency does not get the kind of attention that a St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, and over those parishes are getting, because listening to you now, it is the first time I think we are hearing that your constituency have that kind of damage.
Yeah, so look, I think we are the entire response is flawed in the sense that we seem to think that either you're affected or not, right? And there is a lot of gray area, and sadly, my constituency seems to be falling in that gray area. So we don't get the attention, we don't get the resources, and we shouldn't get it at the rate that the Western constituencies and parishes do. But certainly, the damage we've suffered requires a lot more than is being sent in our direction at the moment. So, a major struggle right now for the people is water. The pumps, you've heard the stories about generators by the dozens that have come in, but we don't have a generator at a pump in Claremont, which is serving one of the largest areas in the parish and the constituency, the largest in the constituency. There's no pump there, and we've been having a discussion for 2 weeks.
Don't pass that yet.
The pump is not functioning. No generator there.
Don't pass that yet, Dr. Russell. Don't pass that yet. The government of Belgium sending 400 generators. Do you have any idea what size generators are those? Do they have the capacity to help to do a pump like the one you have in Claremont? Are you aware of any of that information?
I know what I want. I need a 600 kVA generator in Claremont, and we don't have it. I know that the the Claremont police station, could run on a 110 or even less capacity generator. They don't have it.
Hold on, Dr. Russell. Stop. Dr. Russell.
I know that the schools in the constituency today, the principal told me that grades 1 to 3 cannot come to school because the classrooms are dark.
Dr. Russell, hold on a little bit.
Are dark. They do not have generators.
Hold on, Dr. Russell.
I'm telling you that what I need, I don't know what has been provided. I don't know what has come from elsewhere. I'm telling you that we don't have what we need in order to respond to the needs of the people.
You just mentioned the Claremont police station. You mentioned the Moneague police station. Are you saying that these police stations are using lantern? They don't have no generator at all?
No, they don't. A citizen or businessman in the community loaned a generator to the Claremont police station only on the weekend. I think it was on Friday or Saturday.
You mean?
So yes, they're operating with, candles and the light of their phones. Man.
No, hold on, Dr. Russell.
I'm not making this stuff up. Just go down to Moneague right now.
Dr. Russell, hold on. This broadcast is going all across the world. We are on Caribbean radio 97.9 HD4. This is one of the biggest coverage in Florida. And you are saying 21 days after Hurricane Melissa, Money police station have no generator. And it's Friday, a businessman lend Claremont police station a generator?
Yes, that is what I am saying. That is what is the fact. That is what exists on the ground. I'm also saying the schools, some of the schools cannot open at full capacity because they don't have generators in the school.
And you are saying that the pump in Claremont...
The water pump in Claremont does not have a generator. The one in Money has one, but it's only functioning at a percentage of the capacity. And so it cannot pump water to some parts of the community.
How many people the pump in Claremont serve? Approximately.
I don't know that.
Give me in percentage. What percent of your constituency?
It's the largest residential segment of the constituency. So it would be in the order of the division itself would be over 12,000 in terms of population.
Yes.
So so the majority of that is served by the Claremont pump.
Have you discussed this with Matthew Samuda?
I've written to the minister. We've had exchanges on the sidelines of Parliament about it. He's aware of the situation. I again messaged him today about it, and he has committed to looking into the situation. But I do have daily conversations with the regional manager for the Water Commission. They give me the assurance that they're doing their best, but at the end of the day, I am still without the things that are needed to get that pump, to get water. So, when I say we're mishandling the response, I'm saying, I spend half my day just trying to figure out, because we can't get the trucks, and the trucks have to travel really far to get the water to come back. So you spend so much of your time on these things that are basically just logistics, right? Just trying to get the truck, trying to just find out if there's a pump that can be rented, the things that we should not be doing if we were truly prepared for this hurricane.
Wow. This is shocking, viewers and listeners. St. Anne, Southeast St. Anne. And we are hearing that there are police stations without a generator. What are we talking about? How about your health centers, Dr. Russell? Are they up and running?
Yeah, the health centers didn't suffer major damage, so they are functioning. The same goes. We had schools that suffered some damage, so they're also coming back on stream. I think Ferncourt is back to full capacity, though it suffered some damage. There are few of the primary schools that are not yet back to full operation, but getting there slowly. But all of them have started to operate at some level. But the risk, of course, is, as I said, because of the lack of water, not only in Claremont Division, but in sections of Bentonton, sections of Money and the Beachertown Division.
How are the schools
contributing to the risk related to sanitation and hygiene issues? But also, you don't have enough water, then you're not drinking enough, and that contributes to other complications.
How are the schools operating without water?
Well, the schools, water is trucked to the schools, and they've been given priority attention.
Yes.
So the Water Commission, to their credit, they've done well and been very responsive in providing water to the schools.
Right.
So I'm really grateful to them for that, and they've been consistent in providing the water to schools. So water is not an issue
for the schools.
If they're even if they're late in getting it, but they do get it, and they do have water to operate.
Earlier, you mentioned about the housing stocks, communities where all roofs are off. You are on what, the $5 million list?
I am on the I'm on the $7 million list. My constituency was given $7 million
to help with housing. Is that adequate?
Yes. No, it's not. It's look, as I said, over 1,500 reports came into my office. And this is people who've come forward to report the damage that they've suffered. So right now we are in the process of allocating the resources. And as you can imagine, $7 million, if you're to give $70,000 per person, then you'd only be able to help about 100 persons, right? But the need is so widespread that the risk to us is that we're put in a position where you can't do enough. Even 70,000 isn't sufficient, to really deal with if you've lost your roof, then you're looking at $500,000 only for material to put it back on if it's a 3-bedroom or thereabout. So no, man, it's not enough. And we're told that there might be more, but part of the weakness in this response is that we can't plan. I don't know what else is coming. So anytime I get $1, I have to treat it as if it's the only dollar I am getting, right? We got some money for food, for example, and you're able to do 100 packages, and you have to then be selective about who gets it and how you give it out. Because you don't have it to walk into a community and give everybody. And I'm telling you, because of the point I made earlier, the farms are down, people have lost their jobs. A lot of the businesses are operating at only a small percentage of their full capacity. It means then that the need is generalized because you didn't get a paycheck, or you're not expecting one at the end of this month. So you aren't able to function in the same way. So it's not that people want to sit around and wait for food to be given to them, but the situation is putting them in a position where they need a care package just goes a long way in helping them to get through this difficult time. Again, as I said, you remember we do not have electricity for the most part. So imagine you were raising some chicken, right? And if the hurricane didn't kill them, you now have them, and one, you don't have the water to maintain them.
Yes.
So if you decide to kill them, you don't have a refrigerator to put them on, right? And so it's a really tricky time for my constituency, and I know that it's also an issue across the country.
But doesn't it even get more trickier the fact that the buyer principle may not be in your constituency, but I'm sure that there will be people from your constituency who are employed there and employed to other hotels who have closed their doors indefinitely. How are you going to deal with that aspect of it?
Yeah, so those hotels that have remained open or have tried at least to continue to pay their staff, and the same for all the businesses which are doing this. I just want to commend them and thank them. Every person who has lost a job, or it becomes more challenging because the need to step in and provide some kind of support increases, or the number of persons for which you have to do that. For which you have to do that, the more you have to do, the more people you have to do that for, of course, then the more resources that is required. So we have to also get creative. I think in agriculture, we have a great opportunity there to get the farmers back to work. And the Prime Minister is right about one thing. The rest of the country, which was not as severely affected as the West, can step in. But it's one thing to say that. It's another thing then to give us the resources. And as I asked in the Parliament, I want those resources. No, because the farmers are ready to get to work. No. And if we're talking about Christmas and having eggs on the table, having vegetables like pak choy and kalaloo and so on, if we plant those, no, we can have them for Christmas, right? But if we delay and play around, then we're going to be increasing the risk of a more severe and prolonged food shortage. But I think that's one way, get more young people interested in agriculture, and especially now that we know that there is a demand, there's a market, there's a gap that is left by the Western parishes. I think this is one way that we can fill the gap for those who are losing jobs and so on. The other aspect of this, of course, is entrepreneurship, because there are lots of opportunities being created, in this crisis, right? And so we have to ensure that we provide the resources for those who would want to get into various, types of endeavors to deal with the challenge which we are facing, right? But again, we have to sit and think it through. We have to have the resources, and we have to take risks especially, as I said, with young people, giving them the opportunity to do what they can to help the country go forward. So, yes, we're losing jobs. Young people especially are losing jobs in the tourism industry, but it's also the other side of a crisis is opportunity.
But is rather on the ground in your constituency, getting the farmers organized and getting the necessary assistance for them to get them going right now?
Well, RADA is present. Unfortunately, their physical facility was also destroyed by the hurricane. Their office building. So that has set them back a bit. But they are present. They're on the ground. The resources, and I've been having the conversations with them about ensuring that they have the resources. At the moment, I know there are commitments made to them. I don't think they have them in hand at the moment. And I did stress in my most recent conversation with the parish manager the need to get resources into the hand of the farmers, like right now. The same point I made earlier. So I think there are commitments made to them. The minister in Parliament last week spoke about some strategies which are going to be pursued, but it's the urgency that is missing. It is the way these things are going to fit together in a strategic way to get us out of this situation that we're in. I'm not seeing that at national level, and it's not trickling down to RADA on the ground.
Do you think the government have the necessary resources to do better than they are doing, MP Russell?
Yes, because you look at my constituency. I'm willing to guess I have more arable land than just about any other constituency. Just given the size and the vast swaths of arable lands that are available there. But we're not having a discussion about how we quickly turn some of these into agro parks. We're not having the discussions about how we are going to move forward to take advantage of these resources. So part of it is that I don't think the government is fully seized with the resources that are available to it. Now, not only that, but my background, part of my time was spent in the Rohingya camps in Bangladesh.
Oh, yes.
When the Rohingya people were forced out of Myanmar into the countryside, the hillsides of Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm.
What makes an effective response? It's not really about how much resources you have. That's important, and you need to have sufficient resources. But effectively coordinating how those resources come in, how they're used, how they're deployed, how they get to people. You're right? At the moment, you are getting the sense that anybody can do anything whenever they want, right? Once you have some resources, you drive into a place, you distribute, you take your photos, and you go.
Yeah.
But we know that that's not going to last very long. In a few days, that's going to be a thing of the past.
Yes.
The real challenge for government is to ensure that all of these efforts are coordinated. It doesn't make sense that 6 convoys go into a community, into a parish, and they end up in similar places and give the resources to the same people. And those who really, oftentimes, really need it, are not accessing it. And there's no control over who is getting what and how you ensure that you don't splurge basically everything that you have now, right? But you release it according to need. So what this would mean is that you have a convoy, I have a convoy, DJ so-and-so, everybody who has something, it needs to go through a single channel and ensure that not everybody, because we're putting our people at risk. And we're also, I think, demeaning our people to a certain extent because of the way that we see them in some cases rushing and pushing to get their hands on a care package. We don't need that. I think we have enough resources and it's managed well. All of us channeled in a single direction. If we know what people's needs are, we scheduled it so that you are in an affected area. You have your days when you pick up the package or when you pick up your water. So people maintain some dignity in the process. And right now, that's just not happening. right? And I think that's where we need to go really, really quickly. But
you said, hold on.
We run the risk of wasting the resources that we have, not using them efficiently.
Correct. You said you did some work for the United Nations down there in what? Rwanda?
Well, I worked in Zimbabwe and then Bangladesh. My emergency response work was in Bangladesh.
And that kind of work was something similar to this kind of recovery that we need. What
yes,
benefit?
Some of the elements.
What benefit would that kind of experience that you have had help in this situation?
So emergencies, they are very similar, right? Even if the cause of it is different, at the end of the day, you have people who are displaced, whether it is, they've been moved from one place or another, or just they don't have the comforts that they're used to.
Yes.
Which in this case, people, they are in the same place, but the house is gone and they have to start over. So from my experience, as I said, the coordination is critical, making sure in this initial part of the response, you are documenting, people are identified, and to the extent possible, you're creating a database of people and what they need, what they've lost, and so on. So that needs assessment needs to be done. And then it's also important that the services are accessible to people. We run the risk, and you've heard certainly Dr. Dawes, Comrade Dawes, speak about this multiple times.
Yes.
That oftentimes, if the event doesn't kill as many people as the after effects, what comes after, right? So you want to manage the emergency, manage the crisis, so that you do not set up people to fall prey to whatever emerges afterwards, diseases and so on. So that is a lesson across all emergencies that we have to be mindful of. We also know that emergencies are a time when a lot of predators of all kinds, right, come out to play.
Yes.
Right. So if you have everybody and anybody walking in and giving things to people and being present in communities, you might be walking with a care package. Doesn't mean that you care, right? You might just be there to exploit children. You might be there to spread messages that are not consistent with the values of the community or the people. But because you are in this vulnerable position, you allow it. And
or
so
you might be there
become
looking for
susceptible to
opportunities to do things that are untoward.
Yes. Right. So that protection aspect of it is really, really important. I know, for example, women, making sure you have basic sanitary facilities for women to use.
Yes.
And can do so and feel safe, for our children. And that's why, again, a big lesson is get back to normalcy as quickly as possible. And part of that is schools, making sure children can get back into some routine. And school is a big part of that, whether it be your regular school and where the school is destroyed, some temporary learning facilities, right? So that you can get the children and get the communities to start feeling a sense of normalcy, because you have to engender hope. If people don't feel hopeful, then they're not going to get up. One of the things I heard regularly as I went around the constituency, someone whose roof has been blown off and the wall collapsed. This woman was looking outside her bathroom, the walls were destroyed. And she just kept saying, I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And it's not a figure of speech. She just didn't know whether to sweep out the water or get a tarpaulin to cover the thing, or she said she just didn't know where to start.
Dr. Russell, just a minute. If you're just joining us, we're talking to Dr. Kenneth Russell, Member of Parliament for South East Centre, sits on the opposition benches in the Parliament. Dr. Russell, do you think that some of the people from the western side that have been hardest hit should have been evacuated out of those areas?
I've heard the idea, and I think there's some merit in it, because that would create space for the kind of development that needs to take place. The flip side of it, which is where now I'm a bit more guarded, and I want us, given the context of the emergency, the disaster, to be really careful, because we run the risk that if some people are evacuated, that they will never be returned, right? Because of the land arrangements that exist. If you don't own that land and you've been moved to another place, then that allows, whomever owns it to take the land that you've been living on, including, the government. So I think that's where I would want us to be careful, because it could lead to displacement of communities. It could lead to displacement of people in a way that they never return. So I think there could be some value in it, but it has to be done with certain basic guarantees.
Yes.
Basic guarantees being given to people, and ensuring that they're not it's not used as a way to get
people off government land.
Get people off land that they've lived on for a long time.
But when we look at our elders, Dr. Russell, people who are living in some of these communities who are on insulin that needs to be kept on refrigerator, people with young babies, ladies who are far advanced in pregnancy, living in those areas that are saturated with water. What should the government be doing at this stage?
So it's two-pronged, right? In the immediate term, those people who are at risk should be moved to a place where they are safe. Because if you're not safe, you're not protected, then all else is really useless. So on the one hand, you have to make sure that you get rid of the risks. Either you can't get rid of the risk to people, then you have to move the people from the where the risk is.
Mm-hmm.
So, but those should not be treated or should not be seen as, you're evacuated temporarily. So you need shelters. There are living arrangements that are going to allow for you to get through this phase, right? When you're most vulnerable. Then the second side of it is now, cleaning up and removing all the contributors to risk to life and to safety and so on. And a major part of that is the people themselves participating in it, because that is also empowering. It also allows for you as the person who has been affected to show agency and to, feel empowered, because you know you're taking back the power that you've lost coming out of the event. So the government should be focused on making sure people are safe, creating safe ways for people to engage in the cleanup and restoration of their community, and creating temporary facilities. As I said, education, play spaces for young people, children and young people.
Yes.
So trying to restructure, but at the same time return a sense of normalcy to how people live. And I know that in some places and in some cases, whole communities will need to be rebuilt. So it's important then that the temporary locations are, both things need to coexist. So those temporary locations should not inhibit the more permanent activities that need to take place.
Let me move.
It's a tricky balance that we need to strike.
Yes.
And it always has to have the people involved in that process. It has to have them helping to make the decisions and being part of the process, including being able to earn money in the process.
Yes.
They help each other, but also because they have a whole life that they have to recreate, rebuild house and furniture and whatever. So, it's a process that has to be balanced in order to ensure we don't further disenfranchise those who have been devastated in the hurricane.
Let me move back to your constituency finally before we leave you. What does your constituency you think will be looking like going up to Christmas, which is just maybe about 6 weeks away? What will your constituency be looking like?
So over the next week and a half, 2 weeks, the monies we just discussed, that those funds will be made available. So people who need to do some basic repairs to their houses will have this support. So I expect then that people have a bit more confidence in where they live, because a lot of right now, when the rain sets and when the rain falls, people are again re-traumatized because, a lot of the houses are leaking, really badly. So some of that repair work should advance. They'll have support for that. We will clean up a lot of the debris. Today I was talking to the NAA, clean up a lot of the debris along the roadways. We are going to celebrate Christmas, right? So clean up the debris, but we're also ensuring that the farmers are back in the field. I will give the monies I have, I'm going to provide to farmers for a range of different activities, but some of which is focused on getting food on the table in time for Christmas. So it means then that they also will be able to earn some money as you get into this Christmas period. And yeah, we're going to light a tree we're going to light the clock in Claremont. We want to make sure that we show that we are triumphing over this serious episode that we've come through, that it's blown us down, but we're getting up and we're going to be even stronger. So Christmas, as I said, a lot of activities to strengthen the communities, to clean up the communities, get people back into economic activity in farming and so on, but also celebrating, lighting the clock in Claremont like it's never been lit, and just saying we're here and we're going to be stronger.
Finally, will you be requesting more money from the government for your constituency this year?
Yeah, man, we have major issues with roads. We have roads that have either collapsed or had breakaways that need serious money for repairs. The monies for housing, we need a lot more in that regard. The same for agriculture. So yeah, the government, and it needs to be done in a way, Colin, that is not, a little money here that's earmarked for one thing and a little there for something else.
Yeah.
I, as MP, I need to be able to be strategic about the resources that are available. And right now, you can't do that. You get a little here and a little there, and you can't really do a serious plan if the resources are provided in this way without any guarantees as to how much or when it's going to come. It's at the pleasure of the Prime Minister, it seems, and it's really not a good way to develop a country and to run a constituency.
Dr. Russell, would you be willing to serve on committees to deal with the relief and rebuilding of this country, if given the opportunity?
Well, yes, but we have been clear, though. I want to also echo the position of the party as it regards what is required, right? So we need, already we have committees in Parliament, the PAAC and so on, that can deal with the parliamentary side of the oversight of the emergency response. What we need is to engage as a society more broadly.
Yes.
Right? So that we can bring other ideas to the table. We can bring from young people, from civil society, and so on. And that you will be better able to get if we have a more far-reaching, a broader oversight committee. And that's the kind of space that I would be happy to engage in and to serve in. And I think I speak for a lot of well-thinking Jamaicans that we want to be a part of that process, because we know we can rebuild stronger, right? But we need to be united, and we need to be serious and genuine about engaging each other in that process going forward.
Dr. Russell, let me thank you for spending the time with us this evening. I will wish you all the best and hope that you get a generator for Claremont to pump the water. Water is life. That's critical, and that needs to be in place, and to get some light into the police stations.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. And I do want to just use the opportunity, yes, to echo the needs that we have, including the generators, But I also want to thank those who have come forward and those who continue to whether it is the individual, the woman who sent me, a small student was apologizing because it's small, and I just reminded her of the power of what she has given and the fact that she stood up.
Yes.
But also, the organizations that have come forward. We have a Wi-Fi service which one of our partners, Chakana, has been supporting. We have all of these partners who have come forward. Some of them with me, but others in their own capacity, individual and as institutions. And I just want to thank everybody, who is pulling together and helping to rebuild our great constituency.
I know
our country more broadly.
There are a lot of people who are going out to help people. Which of your communities need most help that people could bring care package to assist some of the people? Which community would you recommend?
Yeah, so as I said, the need is becoming generalized because we've lost the jobs and the farms are down and so on. But in communities like Colgate, Cottage, Coombs, in that area of Beechertown, Parrytown, in Beechertown, Hindstown, but also in the Claremont area, whether it be Rural Retreat or Carton Mountain, Barrett Hall. In the Benston Division, still lots of standing water in the Pedro River area.
Mm-hmm.
So that the care package there might also have to take into consideration things like repellents and so on. And in the Monique Division, places like the swamp area, similarly, we have to take into consideration the risk from mosquitoes and flies and so on. But the areas of focus there, communities of focus there would be the Riverhead area, the Friendship Lincoln area, right? So Fates Pen. So people can just reach out. We have strong partners on the ground, and we'll be happy to point people to areas where they can be of support, and they don't necessarily have to partner with my office, but we have a strong partnership with the churches in the community, with the schools, and we'll be happy to point people to them if they prefer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kenneth Russell. Thanks for your time.
My brother, my pleasure.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Anne, Dr. Kenneth Russell, laying it out on the table for those of you who are saying that we are spreading propaganda. The man said the police station at Manig, I use Kangle 3 weeks after the hurricane. The government get a whole heap of generator. Distribute the generators. Distribute the generators. Tomorrow evening, we are going to be having the leader of opposition right here. Yes, man. 5:30 tomorrow evening. Mark Jefferson Golden will be my special guest. So make certain to join. This is Caribbean Radio, 97.9 HD4. Bro Gary Radio. Check it out. Yeah, man. Make certain to download the app. And of course, please check out my social media handles. Check out Portland Spice TV. That's my YouTube channel, Portland Spice TV. Check it out. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. My TikTok is Shaka Fame at TikTok. I want somebody call out to the JFF. The reggae boys must wear black armband this evening. We've been talking about it from Saturday morning. That I was disappointed when they played Trinidad. They weren't wearing black armband. You need to have national understanding. Understand the national psyche. Jamaica Football Federation. A minute of silence must be held for all who lost their lives in Hurricane Beryl this evening. Flags. I don't know what they're waiting on to start flying our flags at half staff. We have 6 minutes to go. We can take 1 or 2 calls. Anybody want to call? 876-804-7072. That's the number to call. And we see the call them coming in. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show.
Yes, sir, brother. Evening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, man. Great job you're doing. Great job you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you talk about the creative industry all along, which is very good.
Yes.
And boy, to all me see it, I don't think the government really want the little man to reach certain levels, because once they reach certain levels, you can't control the masses again.
But it is the creative industry, people, it is the creatives that are down there in the West helping, building house, carrying in plane loads of stuff. And I've been saying to you people all the time that the most rich people in Jamaica in any one industry, they are in the culture and the creative industry. And if the government just invests in this industry, Jamaica can be a wealthy country.
That is true, but remember, they don't want to look a dirty football for reaching away. That's like can have a vice like how Buju have a vice. They don't want the little black skin man to reach great levels, That you always take that in the back of your mind.
But you stop them at your own peril because they are the ones that the country should be built on. From Yaga School, them say the people is the greatest asset. And Jamaican people are talented, very talented. Yeah. Our culture is rich and craved around the world. And I've been saying to the government, I know what to do. I know how to do it. Yeah. Make we talk so we can build out the creative industry. We can make $30 billion a year from the culture and the creative industry.
Yeah, boy. But I think them not go want it. Them not go want it to reach our levels for the little man. Can elevate much more.
Well,
but it's sad, but that's a one section. Now, next up, look at the big topic.
Yes.
Me off-grid for like 11 years now. And boy, over these times, we in the Caribbean, as Jamaica, as a leader, we not push solar at all. Right now, them have all deals with China. China the greatest in a solar and batteries and them thing there. Even the gas generator, them are do.
Well, Carla.
People can't go afford to buy the gas,
Carla, gas nearly broke me. Gas
yeah, man, then
nearly
expensive, bad
listen,
man.
it's $6,000 a day. Me did I spend per fuel, brother. In term for the generator, $6,000 a day me did I spend, right? But let me say this to you. Yeah. One of the problems that Jamaica had, when the PNP got in power in 2016, electricity was, not 2016, sorry, 2012. Electricity was about 35 US cents per kilowatt hour. The PNP brought it down to 23 cents per kilowatt hour by adding Whipton Wind Farm and adding, I think, about 2 or 3 major solar farm to the grid to bring in renewable energy. Since this government has been in power from 2016, they have not added anything to the grid. So right now we are paying between 45 cents and 50 cents US per kilowatt hour for electricity in Jamaica. JPS just before the hurricane tell us that if the hurricane hit, electricity bill going to go up. So we in problem.
Why? It's sad. It's sad that the government now push in a futuristic way for the little man can elevate themselves. That's the sad thing about it.
But it's the little man and the small business them grow the economy. So the government have to wake up and smell the coffee, my brother.
Yeah, thank you. Tomorrow evening again, sir.
Yeah, man, thanks for the call. Tomorrow evening we start at 5 o'clock. Remember, my guest will be Mark Jefferson Golding, opposition leader and president of the People's National Party. He will be here with us for about 45 minutes tomorrow evening. So make certain you join us and catch it. Want to thank everybody on Caribbean Radio 97.9 HD4, covering Florida. Bro Geary Radio, make certain you download the app, or if you have HD Radio, because that's the new way, people. That is the new thing. FM, like of AM radio fade out, FM is fading out, and HD is what is coming. So let me just thank everybody on Caribbean Radio for being with us. It has been a pleasure. Do remember to join us next week, Tuesday, on Caribbean Radio. We're going to be right here again for the Colin Bell Show. Talk Jamaica. Hello, good evening, caller.
Good evening, Colin. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Welcome to the show.
Okay. Let me just say this quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's time that Jamaica people rise up, get up, stand up, push back on Andrew Holness and what he's bringing forth is dictatorship type of leadership with his wife, taking over Jamaica and doing what they think they must do to people and holding back the people. Jamaica has had enough wealth that could have helped people to forward themselves and live a better life and in better living condition. People, let us stand up strong against this type of leadership and decide that we are going to have some peaceful demonstration, sending a message to Andrew Holness. And also, wherein he's acting inappropriate, we take him to court. You see, we take him to court for these type of things. Look at the gentleman just speaking. And the police station has no light. A police station, no light. Using Kango, and he has gotten so many generators.
I bet
this
you,
ought not
Carla,
to be.
I bet you when we put out, I bet you when we blast this little more, you're going to have labor right to say a lie.
Yeah, they always come on the defense, but we're not looking at that. They always, and they know it's true, no one will come out and put their character and their life online to speak, lie against the government. The government knows it's true, but they don't want to hear the truth. They want to shut you down so you don't speak and put fear in the people. And we must move away from that. Move away from fear. Stand up for yourself. Stand up, people. Come together. It's one Jamaica. He's trying to divide the country so that we cannot come together to come against his dictatorship, leadership type of government. We must let our voices be heard. Come on. We employ them to work for us. It's taxpayers' money paying them. So we must send them a message. It's time, people. It's time. We cannot continue like this. Jamaica cannot continue like this. Come on. Wherein he must be sued. Sue the government. Sue him. And let me say this and get off the phone. When we sue the government, taxpayers' money must not pay for no lawsuit. Their money must be used, not taxpayers' money. It's time, people. Get up, rise up.
Thank you. Thank you, caller.
That is it. Colin, good night.
That is it for this evening. Reggae Boys playing, we're going to watch football. I mean, look, if them have on them black armband, we must have national understanding. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace. Until we meet again tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock. Remember, leader of opposition, Mark Golding, will be here tomorrow evening. One love, my people.